I hope I'm live. Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. We're live for Manchester United at home to Bournemouth, but also we will be covering Arsenal against Newcastle. So it's a very interesting game, and also a very interesting game because apparently Harry Maguire is going to start, and Varane or Lisandro Martinez are not going to start, and apparently Donny van de Beek is going to start. So we should have the team coming in for you now. Let me just have a quick look and see. Rotation is the key to happiness, apparently. Unless you're in a marriage, don't start rotating your partner. The other one won't like it. If they come home from work and, you know, it's January, new year, new you, and you're in bed with somebody else and you say rotation is the key to happiness, you'll get a rotation of their wrist probably, and not the rotation of the wrist you'd like, a painful rotation of the wrist. But look, there has been some rotation from Manchester United. The team has got Magaluf at the back. It's De Gea, it's Lindelof, it's Maguire, it's Wan-Bissaka, it's Luke Shaw, it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in charge. Ole's back, Kaliki, they've given us the job back. We've got the Solskjaer back five, De Gea, Maguire, Lindelof, Shawry and Wan-Bissaka. The midfield though has Casemiro, Eriksen and Bruno in it. Van der Beek starts, as does Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial. So I think Bruno Fernandes will probably move to the right, won't he, with Donny playing as the 10. Both. Our best back four, you could argue, apart from Luke Shaw, is on the bench. So Dalot, Martinez, Varane, Malacia on the bench. Fred and McTominay on the bench. Alanga and Garnacho on the bench. Anthony not there. Anthony not in the squad. So, yeah, Magaluf start. No Anthony in the team for Manchester United. No Anthony at all. I'm live. Let's go. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Just about to put a tweet out now. There we go. Yeah, that's how we're looking here. So team is on the screen there. We're sponsored by Boohoo Man as well. We'll be talking about Boohoo Man in a minute. I don't understand Bruno as a right winger, says Sulyard. What's going on here? Right, all right. Nicola, welcome to the Members Club. Hi, I'm from Cornwall. Hope you're well, says Nicola. Hi, Nicola. I'm from the Midlands. I hope you're well. God, that Bournemouth kit looks horrible. Great opportunity for Donny playing in that midfield with good players around him, says Oliver Hunt. I mean, I do feel a little bit nervous. When's Martinez back, says Jack. He's on the bench. Do you think Maguire United career is finished, says Zach? He's starting. And we're in 2019 with that back four, says Martial AFC. I've got to say that, I did a very arrogant thing. It's unlike me to be arrogant, I know, but I did a very arrogant thing. I did an Instagram post earlier, and I said, basically, Bournemouth have got about as much chance of winning this game as my gran has of winning Miss World. Now, my gran, rest in peace, she can't win Miss World. She could win Miss Out of This World because she's dead, but she can't win Miss World. So, you know, I'm saying that my gran's got more chance of winning Miss World. And even before she was dead, she was in her late 80s. So, you know, she wouldn't miss World even if she wasn't dead. So, and she is. Rest in peace. So, you know, I do feel a little bit nervous about Bournemouth because they've got a better chance now than they had based off the team I thought we were going to pick. So, yeah, I'm interested to see how this is going to pan out. But some big rotation coming in for Manchester United. That back four is giving me bad flashbacks, but in all seriousness, if there's ever a game to play Magaluf, it's this one. I agree, Joshua, I agree. I think I stand by what I said. Ten Hag, without doing what I did on Instagram, has basically done what I did on Instagram. He thinks Bournemouth is such a little threat that he can pick Magaluf and Donny. Like, I'm sorry, that is a real up yours. I fancy us to beat you with the reserves. Brennan says, not United related, but did you hear about what happened in the NFL last night? Game cancelled because Bill player had a heart attack. Awful situation. I did. I read about it today. Hopefully he's stable and doing well. Also, did you see about that he was in Wind River, Jeremy Renner, very good, or I think that's how you pronounce it. He got run over by a snowplow as well. So it's all horrible stuff going on. Could it potentially be a different formation today? Could be a diamond, says McCandy. We'll have to wait and see. And thoughts on Donny's future? Well, his immediate future is he's starting Axidoo. And I don't like Maguire, but we had to rotate at some point. If we can't win with this lineup, we don't deserve top four. We have Everton on Friday too, says Shahin. I'll be honest, Erik ten Hag is the manager, and the manager deserves to be backed. But I personally would have started. I would have rotated like this for Everton. I think this is more important tonight that we beat Everton. So, but look, it's not up to me. It's up to Erik ten Hag. It's called rotation exactly, says Baradi, and I've got no problem with it with the rotation. I'm just saying, I personally would have rotated against Everton a bit more, but I think we're probably going to go strong against Everton. Is it a message to the board, says Reese? I don't really think it is. He should play Martinez to get back his form, says Aziz. Well, I think that Dalot and Martinez are going to play in the Cup, and you know what it does expose? It exposes quite an interesting thing as to how Erik ten Hag sees this Manchester United season, because I think if he goes strong tonight, then he probably picks a weaker team against Everton. But the fact is, he's going to pick a stronger team against Everton now, isn't he? So it shows that, he wants to win everything, and he wants to hang around in the Cups, doesn't he? Which is interesting. Anyway, today's show is supported by Boohoo Man. Boohoo Man is all about looking good and feeling great. And I want to be there at it's on the screen there. Scan the QR code. That's how you do it. Boohoo Man is all about looking good. Active wear. I'm wearing one of my hoodies tonight because I want to feel nice and snug. But you can get gym wear, active wear, relax wear, the whole lot. But because Boohoo Man are sponsoring the show, it means it's time for some football trivia. And this week we're asking if you guys can guess which United player Boohoo Man are talking about from the below clues. So here we go. I was born on the 11th of January 1957 in Chester, England. I didn't know he was born in Chester. I started my football career at West Brom in 1975. I moved to Manchester United in 1981 for a British record fee of 1.5 million. During my United career, I won 2 Premier Leagues, 3 FA Cups, 1 League Cup and 1 Cup Winners' Cup. And during my time at United, I played 345 games, scoring 74 goals. I also played and managed Middlesbrough. Who am I? Well, it's not Michael Carrick, but it is somebody I thought was another Geordie. I didn't know he was born in Chester. I thought he was born in Newcastle. His name, of course, is Brian Robson. So well done to everyone that got that. And as always, Boohoo Man have given United Stand a discount for you good people on this video. By scanning the QR code or clicking the link in the description and using the code Goldbridge, you can get an extra 10% off at Boohoo Man, excluding certain sale items. So thank you very much to Boohoo Man for supporting today's show. And as you can see, I'm wearing my Boohoo Man hoodie. They've got some fantastic clothing you can get in the new year. For the new you, whether you're, gymming it or just relaxing, get yourself some Boohoo Man clothing, and loads you can get as well. Chesterley Street, says Mark Holder. There we go. Robbo was born in Chesterley Street. There we go, Martin Vella. Thank you very much. Looking sharp, Mark. Just parked up and walking to Old Trafford, says Daniel Lockbutton, and I'm looking forward to a 4-0 win tonight. Yeah, I'm going to go 3-0. Hugh Anderson, genuinely saddened by this lineup. It's my birthday today and was really excited to see Varane and Martinez back in action. Was thinking this would be a great chance for Anthony to get going as well, says Hugh Anderson. Hello, Mark, says Barmer. Hello, Barmer, the legend of the chat. If you know, you know. Sanad, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much for joining. Donny on trial tonight, says Dashin. I don't know what the story is with Anthony tonight. I mean, the story in many ways can only be a concerning one. Either he is dropped completely, which doesn't make any sense, or he is injured. And if he is injured, well, I'm sorry, he's picking up a bit too many injuries, isn't he? So I don't know what the story is with Anthony. I'm sure we will find out in due course what that story is, but a bit too many injuries for me, and not on the bench, of course. So there we go. We will be keeping up to date with Arsenal Newcastle. That kicks off a little bit earlier as well. Also want to give a big shout out for Arsenal as well, because they are looking to spend over £60 million in January on Mudryk. So they're not pissing about, are they? They're not pissing about at all. But it looks like Bruno will be playing off the wing with Anthony out. But yeah, interesting to see how this game does pan out, because we are. I mean, Hafiz is a bit nervous. I still think we'll win. You've got Casemiro, Eriksen, Bruno, Rashford. I think we'll be Luke Shaw. I think we'll be fine, but it's not as strong as I would have liked. What about Gravenberch for 30 million for Eriksen position, and he's more defensive? Love the show. Can you call me a Pratt Mark, says Fianton. I think that Gravenberch would be a very, very good signing, but I don't see Manchester United doing that. Remember, we are playing Bournemouth, though. I feel that we shouldn't be too disrespectful to them as a football club. They are in the Premier League. There's nothing we can do about that. They have lost 6 of their last 7, and they are going to go down. But they've got Travers, Smith, Senise, Kelly, Mepham, Anthony, not our Anthony, Cook, Lerma, Billing, Solanke and Christie. Kiefer Moore is actually on the bench. I mean, they're just not very good. They're just not very good. Just Rhodey has just gifted a member. Thank you very much. Big shout out to you. But I'm not being disrespectful. I don't think Bournemouth are very good. And I would almost argue that the Premier League should do something about letting these fantasy teams come up, because it was funny when Barnsley did it, but it's just a waste of time. It's a waste of time. It's like being on a night out and you've had a few drinks and you think something looks really good, but then when you wake up, you've got to spend time with it. And that's what it is with Bournemouth. It's all happy and joyful when they get promoted, but then you don't realise you've got to spend 9 months of them in the Premier League, and they're just they're a new team. And the fact that Ten Hag is playing Magaluf at the back and Donny at number 10 just shows you that. Anyone can beat anyone, says Jake. Yeah, anyone can beat anyone, but Bournemouth aren't going to beat Man United. I mean, a miracle could happen, but I just think this is Razor. What? So you want the Super League then? I love that. So I don't really want any cheese on my spaghetti tonight. So you hate cows? No, there's beef in my spaghetti. You fucking idiot. It's got nothing to do with the Super League. I just would rather see teams like Leeds in the Premier League. I'd rather see teams like Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, Bournemouth are just... All right, if Bournemouth stay up, tell me I'm wrong. If Bournemouth go down, I'm absolutely right. It's a waste of everybody's time. I mean, Liverpool beat them 9-0. They're not even in the top 4. You think this game is Martial has to kick on, says Jordan. I expect Manchester United to win this 3-0. I expect Harry Maguire to score. Simple. Just saw a statistic saying that United have not conceded with both Casemiro and Varane being on the pitch. Yes, Joshua, this is true. We did concede against Chelsea, but they weren't on the pitch at the same time, apparently. Mark, will you admit when Arsenal win tonight, we will be unstoppable in this league and be favourites for the Champions League next season, says Zane? No. Just a yank. Thank you very much for becoming a member. Crashed my car on New Year's morning. Somehow seeing Magaluf again is the worst thing to happen this year, says Andrew Small. Can I just say I want Arsenal to win tonight? I don't know whether that's controversial, but I want Arsenal to win because I want to be third tonight. And that's what the situation will be if we win. For me, top 4 is more important. Look at the league table. It's on the screen now. If we win, we go to 35 points and Newcastle would be stuck on 34 and we'd have a game in hand. We're not winning the league. Do you want Man City to win the league or do you want Arsenal to win the league? I'd rather Arsenal win the league. So I would like to see Arsenal win tonight and then we win as well. That's what I'm hoping for. I've got Arsenal versus Newcastle on. Let's believe in our team. Let's go. Ten Hag has proved himself so far. So stay positive, says Kilo. And look, yeah, the rotation of the team is absolutely fine. There's no issue with the rotation of the team. He's changed Varane and Martinez to play his backup centre-backs. I haven't got a problem with that. Donny coming in, it's rotation. I can't make... Game not on TV is disgusting, says Daniel Kirk. Yeah, long live the day where you can actually just pay to watch every United game. It's ridiculous. But back to what I was saying, I can't sit here in front of you and say, I don't think we'll get top 4 because we haven't got a big enough squad, and then moan when he rotates. So we've got to rotate. It's as simple as that. And it will do these players well to keep doing that. I mean, to be honest with you, I suspect that what his plan is, and I'll be very surprised if I'm proved wrong on this because I'm always right. No, I'm only joking, but I'll be surprised if I get proved wrong on this. I think what he's going to do is pick a strong team against Everton in the Cup, go with this team again next Tuesday against Charlton, and then pick his strong team against Man City. And the reason I think that is if he'd played Varane and Martinez tonight and then not played them against Everton, he'd have to play them against Charlton, and then it's a 3-day gap until you play Man City. This way, you play Varane and Martinez against Everton, but you don't play them against Charlton, and then it's a week rest till Man City. So I think that's what he's doing with that. Junior says, any news on Sancho? No. No. He's back training, but he's not back training with the team. And Scott says, let's not forget that if players aren't up to standard, then Ten Hag will take those players off as there are options on the bench. Thank you very much, Scott. Thanks for all the super chats, by the way. You can do that through the $sign. We will read those out, of course. What happened to Anthony, says Sachin? I don't know. And if you're in Ireland, it's on Premier Sports 1, says Rory C. There you go. Well done if you're in Ireland. Mark, thoughts on Ronaldo's new interview? I don't really want to spend time talking about Ronaldo tonight, but I will say this. The line about it not being the end of his career, I mean, it is. It is. I mean, unless he's got a plan to come back to Europe at some point, nobody goes to Saudi Arabia to, prolong their career, do they? Hi, Mark. Are you okay? Your eyes look really sore, says John. No, they are sore. That's why I've got my glasses on. And just tired. I feel it's better if Newcastle win so we can try and catch Arsenal. You never know, says Muff. Okay. And thoughts on Infantino, says Daniel. I think you're talking about... I don't know whether this is true, by the way, because I've seen a few things today that are nonsense. There's a quote flying around that some of you might have seen about George Mendes in July saying that Ronaldo's bigger than Manchester United. Never said it, but doesn't stop people getting retweets and likes off fake quotes. And then there's this other thing that Infantino wants, who's the FIFA president, wants every every country in the world to name a stadium after Pele. Look, all due respect, Pele's not going to get forgotten, you prat. We don't need a stadium in San Marino and Wales and England named after Pele. Maradona won't get forgotten. We don't need stadiums naming after them in every country in the world. It's just another stupid idea from a guy who, for me, just doesn't seem to have his head screwed on when it comes to football. It's disrespectful to football fans that he thinks that every country needs to name a stadium after Pele to remember Pele. For fuck's sake, football fans are very, very educated on the game that they love. Pele ain't getting forgotten. Maradona ain't getting forgotten. George Best won't get forgotten. We don't need to name stadiums after them. If they want to do it in Brazil, I think it's a really nice thing. But we don't need one in every country. How close is Delo to being back in the team? Happy New Year, is solid. Well, he's on the bench, so he'll be very close. And even with this team, this should be an easy win, but I can never count out Maguire to ruin my day. He's a pure liability, says Fervent. And this lineup was a wet dream a year ago, says Tom. I don't think it was ever that. I think you've got your words mixed up there. How close? Yeah. I don't know what you're on about there, mate. I've seen Ronaldo might go to Newcastle if they get top 4, says Liam Gaming. I don't know whether that's true. And Scott, thank you very much. Welcome to the members club. Jason says, hi Mark, did you read about the loan agreement for Ronaldo to Newcastle? Love the show. No, Jason, and to be honest with you, I'm not massively interested in what Ronaldo does now. He doesn't play for Manchester United. He's a legend of the game. I don't really have anything other than a passing interest in what Ronaldo does now. But there you go. Mark, the Newcastle thing is true. Don't care. Apparently Anthony's got an injury as well. Somebody just said that in the chat. I'm pretty sure we're going to hear in the next few minutes what the story is with Anthony. But Anthony is not in the squad tonight. Remember, we're sponsored by Boohoo Man. You can scan the QR code that just was next to me or go through the link in the description. You can get 10% off with the code Goldbridge as well. Score prediction, I'm going to stay 3-0. I wouldn't be surprised if Harry Maguire scored tonight. He'll be revved up for this game, and as will Lindelof. This game tonight reminds me of why Maguire plays well for England. Because 99% of England games are against absolute shite who park the bus and let defenders have the ball. And I think that's exactly what Bournemouth are going to do. This should be a very simple game for Lindelof and Maguire tonight. And De Gea should have a sleeping bag, because it should be very, very easy. And I'm sorry if people think that's disrespectful, but do your homework on Bournemouth. This would be straightforward. We will need to rest Casemiro at some point as well. I wonder if we'll do that in the FA Cup against Everton. We might see a bit of rotation there. Eric Ten Hag confirms Anthony has an injury and therefore isn't in the squad today. And this is the problem, isn't it? Another forward issue. Another forward unavailable. And you know what? With that update, we do get what I've been saying for a while. We're doing very, very well. The league table looks very, very good for Manchester United at the moment. But we are going to pick up injuries. And when we pick up injuries, we have less options. You look at that Manchester United bench tonight, and what have we got? Elanga and Garnacho. They're kids. They're kids. They're not first team players. Well, I mean, they are, but then they're not. You can't rely on it. And further to that, Anthony needs that injury, like a turkey needs Christmas. It's not the sort of injury we need, and hopefully it won't be long term. But I mean, that's one thing about Ten Hag that can be quite frustrating. He never gives updates on injuries. Remember Anthony's injury before the World Cup? We thought it was going to be a few days. It ended up being 3 weeks. Bruno on the wing and Van der Beek in. This because we have no other option at the wing, says Jim. And I think Jim's probably right. I think Anthony would have started tonight, and therefore Donny would have been on the bench. Maguire could put the captain's armband round his face so his headers are more accurate, says Yakov. And lovely content, Mark Glazes out, says show. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for the super chats. You can do that through the $ if you wish to. Mark, you seem tense, says Park Life. I'm not tense at all. I'm actually quite relaxed. Well, I'll tell the truth. I'm a little bit tense because I did a story on Instagram. You can check it out on @Goldbridge Mark, and it was very, very based on not knowing the team, and it was very based on confidence, and let's be honest, the team is not as strong as it could be. So I have to be a bit look, we should be winning this game. I don't care what anyone says. We should be winning this game, and I'm sure we will. We're basically playing some of our reserves, aren't we? Sancho may come back sooner, says Maliki. Well, we shouldn't be rushing anybody back. And Lucy says, I have a feeling we'll lose tonight. Nah, I can't see that. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. I don't know what we're doing on subscribers, but I always like to check before the stream starts. So, trust the manager, says Dan. Well, 100%. I agree with you on that one. I'm not going to go against that. And Van der Beek sold this window, says Daily. I can't see it. At all. Right, we're closing in on 545,000. Bottom right hand corner to subscribe, get involved with the channel. You're very, very welcome. Manchester United, of course, going for another win, and Bournemouth going for another loss. Hopefully, that's what it's all about, isn't it? What the bloody hell is going on here? Why is that? Oh, there we go. That's what I want. So pull that down to there. Okay. But yeah, it is an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer back five. We haven't seen Wan-Bissaka, Magaluf, Luke Shaw and David De Gea for quite a while. And tonight, Matthew, we are going to see it. So it's an interesting one, isn't it? And he has to rotate. I don't really have a problem with it. It makes the game a little bit more interesting. But to be honest with you, if you were seriously thinking about rotating players, then this would probably be the game where you would do it. Is it not? Goldbridge TSFC transfer fee, says Ronan. 150 million easy. And which side would you be more worried about? Maguire and Lindelof protected by Casemiro and Eriksen, or McFred not protecting Varane and Martinez, says Glenny Boy. No, I think that I think Varane and Martinez are a securer back four no matter who's protecting them, really. Ethan says the fans scream about squad rotation, then when it happens they get mad. This is what squad rotation looks like, says Ethan. Are people genuinely mad? I wouldn't be too mad about it, to be honest. Mark, in a good way, it's good that this now, our backup defence, just shows how we have progressed since last summer, says Ross. Junior, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to hide you from the channel there. Thank you very much. And what about João Felix? What about João Felix? I've not heard anything at all. Not heard anything at all on him. One minute. Hi Mark, why isn't Varane playing today, says Jack. Rotation is what it's called. Rotation is what it is. Yeah. Do you think Anthony is injury prone, says Drizzy. You know what? I think you've made a great point, and I don't know is the honest answer. I just don't know. Got misty glasses. I don't know. I know he had an injury at the end of last season that basically kept him out for the summer. It was quite a significant injury. He only started training again in July. Since then, he had an injury just before the World Cup, and now he's had another injury. You know, we'd need further detail on what those injuries are. But, you know, I want Anthony to do well. I think everybody wants Anthony to do well. But, you know, the first season can't drift. It can't be about injuries and inconsistency. You know, he's cost a lot of money and we need him on the pitch. Would you rather win Champions League and Premier League but get relegated, or get second 5 years straight, says Kane? I'm not answering that question. I'm not being an arse, but I'm not answering that question. It's just stupid. We could be here all night asking idiotic, hypothetical questions like, would you rather get eaten by a bear, or would you rather, you know, freeze to death with a polar bear sucking on your toe? Like, it's just an irrelevant choice that's not going to happen, is it, for most people? Happy New Year to you and your family. I hope they're doing well, and so do you. We are winning tonight. I have faith in Ten Hag. Do you hear about news about Frankie de Jong? Nabil, there is no news about Frankie de Jong, unless you are believing clickbaiters. Any thoughts on Andreas Pereira's form at Fulham, Andy? No, we've sold him. He's gone. So there we go. Answer the question, Mark. Would you rather win Champions League and Premier EPL but get relegated, or get second 5 years straight? Well, I'd rather win the Champions League and get relegated than get promoted again. I'd still be in the Champions League in the Championship, wouldn't I? So it's an easy answer. It's De Gea's 510th appearance, says Ginger Red, and Polar Bear sucking on toe for me, says Grant Williams. And 4 players that should be sold in January if offers came in, says CeeLo. I got to be honest, I keep saying this on the morning show. So please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner to do it. We're live every night at 8 o'clock, every morning at 10 a.m. Get involved with the United Stand community. Fantastic community. But I keep saying this on the morning show. There is some really shallow or uneducated opinion on this transfer window. And, you know, I'm not here to educate people, but I can tell you that, you know, we're not selling 4 players in January. We're probably not selling any players in January. And we're not signing anyone for more than 15 million quid. We've got no money. And for that reason, he's not going to sell anybody either. And also, the January transfer window is only 4 weeks long. It takes United 6 weeks to do a deal. So we're not selling anybody, let alone one player in January. And I think we're going to struggle to buy players. I mean, Arsenal are playing tonight. They're top of the league. They're having a fantastic season. And they're looking to They're looking to buy Mudryk for, what, 60, 70 million quid. I saw Liverpool have been linked with Nunez from Wolves today. They've already bought Gakpo. Chelsea are about to spend money. It's, and here we are with Anthony injured, and we're talking about loaning Giroud or Memphis. Would you prefer Donny or Eriksen starting in the long term this season, says Matthew? Well, Eriksen's the better player. I'd like to see Donny playing in Eriksen's position because I think that's where he's played the best for Manchester United, but Ten Hag never plays him there. With what Ten Hag has managed to achieve already, how many signings do you now think he needs for a title challenge, says Caleb? 5. Come on, United, let's win, Mark. You're doing a great job, says Stephen. And would you prefer Donny or Eric? I've done that one. And I stated in the summer, this is from Noah, he stated in the summer that Gakpo was the better bargain than Anthony. You slated it and said, I don't know ball. Opinion now, not talking crap, just curious, says Noah. Well, my opinion's the same. I think you've waited for an opportune moment to try and make me look stupid, and I don't think you've. I think you've gone too early. My opinion on Anthony is that he's better than Gakpo, and it might not be fashionable, but you can't judge a player on their price tag. That's not the player's fault. I think Anthony's better than Gakpo. That's what I thought in the summer. That's what I think now. Gakpo's not kicked a ball in the Premier League yet, and Anthony hasn't kicked enough balls in the Premier League yet. So, look, people will be biased by the price, but Anthony didn't set the price. John Murta did. You can't say that Gakpo's better than Anthony because Liverpool have a better recruitment team. For me, I look at the player, I don't look at the price tag, and I think Anthony's a better player, but I might have to assess that in a year or so, but right here, right now, I still think Anthony's the better signing because we don't have a left-footed attacker. Anthony was very important to Ten Hag. It's not his fault or Anthony's fault that the club spent nearly double than they should. We've done that before. We've got one playing at centre-back. Luke Shaw in United this year, although Marcus Rashford is on fire, Shaw is the sort of player that plays any role for the team and he reminds me of Rooney, says KFC. Goldie, what do you feel would be more feasible way to get the Champions League considering our squad depth? Focus on top 4 in the league or focus on winning the Europa League? Harsh, the best opportunity United have to get top 4 at the moment is top 4. The Champions League is top 4. The Europa League is very difficult to predict. Unfortunately, it's the problem that every team has every season where you're in the Europa League and you want to be in the Champions League through your league. You sort of have to go for top 4 and the Europa League, which is very difficult because you play Thursday, Sunday. The Europa League is the better one because you get a trophy, but it's cup tournament football and anything can go wrong. At the moment, the best bet for United is to get top 4 if they want Champions League football. But it might not be the case in, the closer you get to the end of the season and the longer you stay in the tournament, then, that might change. Only United could go to an open buffet and come back with an empty plate and a stack of napkins. Thanks for all the great content and Happy New Year, says Niall. Happy New Year, Niall. And how many signings do you think we will actually make this month? I honestly think we will only sign 1 and I doubt we'll sell more than 1, says Jay Holds. I don't think we'll sell anybody. I don't think we'll sign anybody. I think we'll get somebody in on loan. I don't think we'll sign anybody or sell anybody. We might see a couple of players on loan, and I think we'll see 1 player coming in on loan. Tom Connolly, thank you very much for your super chat. Please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right hand corner. Big night. Liverpool not playing, they lost last night. Boohoo. We're sponsored by Boohoo, by the way. Links in the video description. Get an extra 10% off with the code Goldbridge. Lovely, fantastic clothing. Very, very well priced. Would you like Rafael Leao at United, says the 3 average gamers? I do like Leao. I don't know whether he's what we need at United. I think we need an out-and-out striker, of which he isn't one. Welcome to the Members Club, Rat. And good to see Rashi not hitting the snooze on his alarm this morning, says Bradley. And Varun says, the only way we get top 4 is if Liverpool and Spurs continue their bad form. Our players are going to show signs of fatigue soon, says Varun. Yes, but at least we're doing a bit of rotation. As I say, for me, I haven't got a big problem with the United team tonight. I think rotation is key. I probably would have rotated and played this team against Everton in the Cup. It looks like we're going to go strong in the Cup against Everton. I think, if I'm being blunt, I think that's a tournament to get knocked out of. But Ten Hag doesn't have that mentality. And you can't knock that mentality. He wants to win everything. Would playing Sancho as a cam be a good idea, says Hypnotic? Only if he tracks back. Doesn't track back enough for me at the moment. Who do you want on loan if it isn't Felix, says NYYK? I want João Felix. It's the best option out there. Yeah, that's what I want. So, if we don't get João Felix, I mean, I think it's for me, it's Gakpo or João Felix. If we get neither of those, then, you know, we're really dropping down the list there. So, yeah. Do you think Ten Hag's best manager since Sir Alex Ferguson? I don't think we win things with Ten Hag, says Stephen. Well, I think Jose Mourinho would have a thing or two to say about that. Vivek, welcome to the members club. Yeah, I think he would have a thing or two to say about that. Would Eric Ten Hag? Sorry, would Jose Mourinho? But I have high hopes for Ten Hag. I mean, you can't say Ten Hag's the best manager since Sir Alex Ferguson without getting into an argument with people, because people will say Jose Mourinho won the Carabao Cup and the Europa League. Winning trophies is what Manchester United's all about. But there we go. Nelly says, crossing fingers for an Arsenal win tonight. And Liam says, I'd prefer we did the Makuku deal at this point if he was under 20 million, says Liam. Yeah. I do agree that we, as weird as it sounds, we do need a we do need Arsenal to beat Newcastle. I'm just thinking, if Arsenal were to lose to Newcastle, which I don't think they will, I expect Arsenal to win. They're playing very, very well at the moment. You know, they are playing fantastically well at the moment, Arsenal. And if Newcastle were to go to the Emirates and win, the boost that would give them with no European football and the ability to go to the league leaders and win, I think that would be a really bad thing for top four for us. We've got to think about what's best for us. We're not going to win the league this season. We don't have the squad to win the league. And top four is our best hope. So we actually do need Arsenal to beat Newcastle tonight. You could probably say let's have a draw, but I think we need Newcastle to lose tonight. I think we do. It's a weird thing, but I do. My word, I feel for you tonight, Mark. Some right simpletons asking questions. It's Treble Champ. Wife stole this morning, can confirm Manscaped is just as good at making the clam look smoother as it is the yard, says Mike Thomas. Thank you. And Mark, do you think we could put pressure on Arsenal City if we get lucky with injuries and get a striker like Giroud in, says Adnan? Well, the honest answer to that, Adnan, is no, because we're not going to get lucky with injuries, are we? You know, you're literally saying, let's see if we can get lucky with injuries, and Anthony's injured. Who's captain, Mark, and do you agree with it? I mean, Rory, silly question. I don't need to tell you who the captain is, because you know who the captain is. It's the same person who's the captain if he comes on for the last 30 seconds. It's Harry Maguire. Do you think that Eric's method is to go weaker tonight, strong against Everton, and then weaker against Charlton? 100%. 100% KFC. I think he has to go rotation in one of the next 3 games. I think he's going to do it in 2. Romania, hi to you all, says Osnam. And Mercury says, Mark just came back from the World Cup holidays. Are my eyes deceiving me, or did Dubravka just return to Newcastle? He's on their bench. Yes, he is. He has gone back. He has gone back. Yeah. What's my score prediction, Kian? I'm going to go 3-0 to Manchester United. Yeah, 3-0 to Manchester United. Any chance you could give us a Manscaped tutorial, says Frostbite? I mean, I'm starting to believe that previous chat now. We've got some weirdos in the chat tonight. We really have. Maybe it's the first day back to work or something. I don't know. The boss is doing a great job, but I want Rooney to be at the helm at some point. God, no. I'll be more than happy if I never see an ex-player manage Man United again. I've got no interest in it. I don't see the point in it. Pep Guardiola never played for Man City. Jurgen Klopp never played for Liverpool. And Ten Hag and Sir Alex Ferguson never played for Manchester United. There's no correlation between playing for the club and being a top manager. I understand why people want it, because it's fantasy, but I want the best. If the best is an ex-Man United player, get him. But I don't need to give him a bloody job just because they used to play for us. Do you think Erik ten Hag has put forward the best team? Says Abhishek. No, look, I'm not gonna comment on that in the sense that would I have picked this team? No. Is it the best team? Well, he's the manager. I don't have a problem with the team that he's picked. I think some people probably do, but you know, as many people have said in the chat, it's rotation has to happen. You can't just pick Varane and Martinez every 3 days for the next 5 months. You've got to rotate. If anything, it probably makes this game more interesting. I think if we'd gone with our strongest team tonight, we comfortably win. If anything, this game makes it a little bit more interesting. I still think we'll win, but it makes you go, Tim, on the note of sad things, also Ken Block passed. So thank you very much for that, Tim. Have a feeling Maguire's going to ruin my day, says Axidu. And I understand Erik ten Hag needs to rotate, but I fear these are the types of games where United could slip up due to too many first teamers not playing, says Stephen. I don't know. I mean, the one thing about that back five is it's very experienced. You know, whether you think it's very good or not, it's definitely very experienced. I mean, I look at that back five of De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire. They've probably played in excess of 30, 40 games together. You know, they've probably played quite a lot. So, you know, I'm intrigued to see, you know, how they do. I hope you're not jinxed tonight, Mark, says Magic. Thank you very much for that. But yeah, they've played a lot of games together. Newcastle don't have the squad for Champions League, says Tony. Well, they're not in it. They're not in the Champions League, are they? So it's a good job. All Newcastle have got to focus on is domestic football. Nothing else. They're not in anything else, so they don't need to worry about anything else. The return of Magaluf, it sounds like a horror movie. But no, look, we're talking about rotation here, and I feel that there's obviously going to be concerns about Maguire and Lindelof, but they have played together a lot, and on top of that, they've also played a lot of teams. You know, they've played with that captain, and they've played with the fullbacks a lot as well. Welcome to United Stand Members Club, Pat. Thank you very much. Nitin says it's a bad decision. Bournemouth had poor last two games and should be all pumped up for this one. Should have rotated for the cup games, not the league game. Interesting. Channel support, love the content, says Red Devil. Love the content. Thank you very much. Mark, love from the United States. I miss living in England, and hopefully we'll visit United Stand Studio this year. What do you think about Raspadori signing in the summer? I think he's been slept on. Thank you very much, King Mo. Appreciate that. Yeah, appreciate it. Van der Beek will be decisive. I think we'll be fine. I do. I think we'll be fine. We've got Arsenal versus Newcastle on as well, so I'll be keeping an eye on 2 tonight. Who would you sign in January as a backup centre-back, says Steve? See, this is sorry, Steve, I hate to expose you here, but this is the sort of thing I just can't get on board with. It's not going to happen. You know, it's not going to happen. We are not going to sign a backup centre-back in January. It's just not happening, is it? As much as we might want it to, it's not going to happen. So, yeah, I can't say anything more than that. I can't get into conversations about things that aren't going to happen. Newcastle don't have the quality to qualify, Pratt. Don't have the Tony Laverty says Newcastle don't have the squad to qualify. I don't know. I don't know about that, because if I look at the Newcastle squad tonight, and just on centre backs, we won't get one in January, but I wouldn't mind Timber, Kim Min-jae, Bella Kotchup. There's 3 for you there. I wouldn't mind. Up your offer to 10k a show and I'll accept, says Manchester United. Don't know what you're talking about. Obviously, you do in your head, but good luck with that. There are other games tonight as well. But looking at Newcastle, their lineup is Pope, Trippier, Shah, Botman, Byrne, Longstaff, Gomeres, Willock, Almiron, Wilson, Joel Linton. On the bench, they've got Lascelles, St Maximin, Ritchie, Lewis, Manquillo, Wood, Murphy, Anderson. Yeah, they need to add some more to that. Why does St Maximin never start anymore? I know he's been injured, but he's their best player, I think. I don't know why he doesn't start. Everton are playing Brighton and Leicester are playing Fulham. 7:45. Yeah, look, Newcastle, they've just kicked off, actually. We're 15 seconds in. But, I don't think Newcastle will get top four. But they have got a chance if they buy well in Newcastle in January. I think since we have Casemiro in the middle off the park, he's going to shield Magaluf well enough. They won't be exposed too often, says Trey. Crazy, we've lost 3 strikers since last January and we've not bought one, says Daniel Kirk. Exactly. Exactly. And St Maximin and Isaac, of course, they've got those two. So whenever they're back, that's a big help for them, isn't it? Mark, I am your longest member. You know what I mean? Says Jonathan Berry, who's been a member for 35 months. That's a long member. That's what she said. Steve says, required rotation for the rest of the season. We need to get the entire squad confidence, which will help us with injury and consistency of play. And you know what, Steve? I think this is something that some people are probably going to struggle to get their head around. Under Ollie, it was the same team every week. He didn't rotate. And he burnt players out. Ten Hag will rotate. We will probably see this team play a lot more than you think. We will probably see Maguire and Lindelof play quite a few games this season because he's got to rotate if he wants to be successful. Yes, you might be risking getting knocked out the cup or you might be risking 3 points, but you've got to do it. Get another new shirt from Stan Store. Let's go. Oh, he's got another one. Uhtred, thank you very much for that. Remember, we do ship worldwide. It's my manager managing, says Just Kevin. And yeah, look, would I have picked a different team tonight? You're damn right I would. But that doesn't mean I'm right. And that doesn't mean that Erik ten Hag's wrong. Erik ten Hag is right to do what he wants to do. And rotation is not something that we've seen a lot of at Manchester United. Tommy Carroll says, would Atletico Madrid take Maguire as a swap deal? What for João Felix? Oh yeah, I bet they'd be over the moon. And game where it's that's like Christmas Day morning swapping a selection box for a PS5, isn't it? And you've ate half the selection box. Where's the crunchy? I've ate it. Get on with it. Now give me a PS5. Arsenal are on the attack here. Could be 1-0 up already. Good play. Ben White. Oh, terrible. Game where will we be pinned in our own half, says Robin Goddard. I expect us to have a lot of possession. Oh, God, Arsenal nearly scored there over the bar from Odegaard. Very good team, Arsenal, at the moment. I think it's going to be a cracking game in a couple of weeks. I know we've got Man City first, but I think when we go to the Emirates, that's going to be a very good game as well. I've seen us do it before. I mean, remember that game when David De Gea was unbelievable? Arsenal dominated us and we still won. Sam says, on Alan St Maximin, he's just not consistent enough when he plays, breaks the team shape and is injury prone. Can be good, but he's like Nani, says Sam. Thank you very much for the insight, Sam. Arsenal look well drilled, says Atty. Oh. And do you think United will go after Kane next season? Yes, City Lad TV, I do. We could finish anywhere from 3rd and 8th this season, and I still feel happy because I can see a future, says Ryan Brown. And first time Magaluf is playing without a bagel midfield in front of them, says Stefan. Yeah, that's not an excuse. Blind Pink says he's got a bad feeling about this. And do you know Nani was a beast, says back to attack man. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way, bottom right hand corner. About 11 minutes away from the start of this game. Manchester United at home to Bournemouth, but a very big game that's been going for 4 minutes already. Got it on the big screen. Arsenal against Newcastle. We could actually do with Arsenal winning this. Hi Mark, I've been watching you the last 7 years. Thanks for the quality entertainment. Jack, you're a legend. Thank you very much for your support. And King Callum is actually a bigger member than the previous member. He says, I'm one of your longest members. I'm not afraid of the squad tonight because we have a manager that knows what he's doing. 39 months King Callum's been a member. Arsenal are all over Newcastle at the moment here. I'm not afraid to say it. They look absolutely dominant. Thoughts on Darwin Núñez, Ajit? I'd love him at Manchester United. I really would. Not going to lie. I'd love him at Man United. Arsenal are absolutely dominating Newcastle here. Arsenal looking for a penalty. They're not going to get it. They're very good, Arsenal. I don't want to get drawn into that, but they are very, very good. Right, let's have a look at that. When is the chart show back, says Whiskey? I think I'll bring it back on Saturday. I think I'll do it on Saturday. I think it's a good idea. I want to bring the chart show back. It's not been back since before the World Cup. So the chart show is basically where every Saturday I do a show where we rank the top 10 Man United players, a bit like the old charts used to. Isn't music charts are shit now, aren't they? I saw that over Christmas. Absolutely rubbish. I mean, I don't even know if people release singles anymore. It's so sad. You know, music used to be so good when I was growing up. I think we've got a video with Ben Foster coming up at the end of the week as well, Rat, yes. And I'd like to do more call-ins. Bloody hell, Arsenal are all over Newcastle here. I need to take my eyes off it. Here's Martinelli into Xhaka, side netting. All over them. All over them. Am I wrong for only wanting to watch United stand when you're on, Mark? Keep up the good work, says JR. Well, no, you are wrong, because the United stand can never just be... I know it mainly is me, but the United stand can't be me. Otherwise, we may as well call it Mark Goldbridge show. The United stand is a community, and therefore... you've got to get other people involved, and I would always ask you to be supportive of those people. We've got some really good people. Whipping up a lovely vodka chicken pasta while watching the Man United games, says Ronan. Vodka pasta? And I thought buying players was an investment, says Zidanio. And I've got the longest member, says Usman. He's been 39 months. I've been here longer, says SJ, 45 months. Oh, God, they're all getting the members out and saying how long they've been a member. But, yeah, it's... it is what it is, and Manchester United are about 8 minutes away from the start of this game. You can get commentary on MUTV. That's why I always have my earpiece in as well. Arsenal looking dangerous, says Marcus, and Max, thank you very much. Please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner to do that. We're on the road to 545,000. We're only 500 away, so bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Get involved with the United Stand. It's free to do. We're live every morning at 10 o'clock, every night at 8 o'clock. Loving the 8 o'clock shows at the moment, by the way. Obviously, we can't, but we are live at 8 o'clock because we've been live for an hour before this game. But I don't do Celtic or Rangers user. Plenty of members messaging tonight. Mark, says Mark Wright. And I've been the longest member, says Manan, who's been here for 5 months. Size doesn't matter, says Pepe. Koresh, okay. I'm going to stop shouting out how long people are a member now. It's getting a bit crude. Arsenal has had 5 shots in 7 minutes. I think they're going to comfortably win, Arsenal. Whether we want that to happen or not. I think it's good for United if it happens, but I think they're going to comfortably win. We're all here, says Jay Spencer. Mark, United definitely conceding tonight with Maguire and Lindelof starting. I think we'll keep a clean sheet, Anthony. Zane says, we're dominating the Magpies. This is how champions play, not like United, Spurs, who grind out results and rely on Kane and Rashford. Zane is such a bad winner, isn't he? Do I think that Núñez is a flop, Ajit? No. Have you played the game, says Hyper Protagonist? I've played the game. And Zane says, this is a nice Zane, not the show-off Arsenal fan. Zane says, you're right about Kane being the big summer signing. We need a forward. He's English and City went and got Haaland last summer. It's inevitable to me, says Zane. It is my theory. I'm just standing up for a stretch, but you can see my Boohoo Man hoodie. Remember, you can get yours by scanning the QR code next to me on your camera phone or going through the link in the description. Using the code Goldbridge, you'll get a 10% discount on top of discounts already there. Get yourself kitted out with some lovely Boohoo Man clothing this January. They've got activewear as well if you're down the gym and all that. Not that I believe in all that. I mean, I do believe in getting healthy in the gym. I just don't believe in doing it in January. I just think people are prats, really. They won't be there in February. You know it. It is a very nice hoodie. It's lined with like I don't know what the lining is, but it's furry inside, so it makes you feel nice and cozy on an evening January watch along where it can get a little bit chilly, but hopefully not. Hopefully we'll be well entertained by Manchester United tonight. I'm hopeful that will be the case anyway, because it's a big game for us, and we do need to win it. You've got to be in it to win it, and we need to win it, of course. Players are in the tunnel, and we're good to go. Well, we're not good to go. That would be a lie. We're not good to go. There is still a bit of time. Come on and shine like a star, shining so bright like the star that you are. Whoa, shine into the future. Rotation is key tonight, and with numbers depleting, says Jack Robinson. Yes, Anthony injured is the big news for Manchester United tonight. Still 0-0, Arsenal and Newcastle. Very interesting start. Mark, ever considered adding correspondence with specialist knowledge like stats, football, financials to United stands, says Ola. Considering a lot, really, in 2023. We've got the studio and we want to get more people involved. So watch this space. What's the bench, says Mark. Bench is Heaton, Malacia, Dalot, Martinez, Varane, McTominay, Fred, Garnacho and Elanga. So not a lot of depth when it comes to the actual squad, but no Sancho, no Anthony, and obviously Ronaldo's left, so we're a little bit light in the attack, if truth be known. But yeah, let me just get this tweet out. Okay. Nipsey says, we've already lost this because Maguire's starting. It's a rainy night tonight. You know what, though? It could work in Manchester United's favour, because maybe Bournemouth will look at that lineup and be a little bit more attacking. But, yeah, I mean, look, we've not really spent much time talking about Donny van der Beek, and I think it's a real opportunity for him. I think if Anthony had been fit, then we probably wouldn't have seen Donny playing. So I thought Donny did a lot better in the 2 cameos he's had since the World Cup than he did in the 3 starts he had before the World Cup. So he's just got to keep building on that. The chances are he's probably going to go in this summer anyway, but things can only get better, can't they? So, and I hope Donny does do quite well. Newcastle on the attack here just ruined that, and it's been cleared by Arsenal. When I think of Maguire and Lindelof, I imagine trying to carry groceries in a wet paper bag, says Sumi. Okay. Is this Donny's first start in the Prem? No, because he started against Villa, didn't he, before the World Cup? Yeah. Maguire has a lot to prove. Don't rule him out of this game. I think he might actually try and perform. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a good game as well. Twisted fate. I really wouldn't. Make sure you subscribe, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. We're on the road to 545k. Let's see if we can hit it tonight. Bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Get involved with the United Stand. It's free to do it. We're live every morning at 8 o'clock, every morning at 10 a.m, every night at 8 p.m. Of course, it's going to be a very busy January. We're playing again on Friday night. We've got match reactions, previews. Martinez is walking out with his medal here with a big smile on his face. Side netting for Arsenal again. Yeah, it's get involved. Could be reacting to transfers and all sorts of stuff. So get yourself involved. You're very welcome on the United Stand. Looks like Newcastle are doing their job anyway by getting dominated by Arsenal. I can see Arsenal winning this 2 or 3-0, you know. They look very good. I have a Manchester United Monopoly set from 2003, near mint condition, that I'd like to send to you, hoping it'd end up in your background, says Rob. Sounds very good, Rob. Very nice. Unfortunately, they can't give out my address on national TV. Mark, will you play Fall Guys? Not now. No, not now. About ready to play. Who's the best player you've ever watched in real life, and have you ever played the game, says Ali. And to be fair, Maguire and I think Ronaldo's probably the best player I've seen in real life. To be fair, Maguire, I mean, I've seen them all. But actual performance in a game of football, yeah, I think it'd have to be Ronaldo for me. To be fair, Maguire and Lindelof may have a decent game now. They have a stronger midfield with Casemiro for support, says Stephen Rossi. Thank you very much. Brighton are beating Everton 1-0, says Anthony. Thank you very much. Score prediction, Thomas. I'm going to go 3-0. I have seen Cal the Dragon play in real life. Yes, Rory, it was a close one. Was a close one. Slow at the back and light in the front. We are only hoping to hit them on the brakes, as Angry Brits. Well, hopefully not. I've completely messed up the timer here. Sorry. I suspect we're probably a few seconds behind because Bournemouth are on the attack already. Just trying to grasp what second we're in, and then I'll update it for you. Bournemouth on the attack at the moment, though. Started off very, very quickly. United need to wake up a little bit. And they've won a free kick. Oh, we're not too bad, to be fair. I might just keep that timer the same. Everyone's going to be all over the place anyway, so not too fussed. Ronnie Gaming, thank you very much for joining the members club. Also, I've done that one from Angry Brit as well. I really hope Donny has a good game today. I'm going for a 2-0 win for us, says Vinay. Maguire, double mark my words, says No You. I hope so. I'd love to see it. I mean, Bournemouth are quite an interesting team because they play with a 4-4-2. There is the potential for the... I mean, it's a very brave way, very, very brave way to play anyway in the Premier League. I mean, Burnley used to do it, but they sort of play with a 4-4-2, Bournemouth, and you know that makes it quite an open game for Manchester United. But they're going to have to work very hard, Bournemouth, to get something out of this game. Fulham are 1-0 up as well, says Match Interview Express. But a good start by Manchester United here. On the attack, Ericsson cleared away. Opinions on Martinelli from Arsenal, says Gabby. Fantastic. Fantastic player. And early foul there. No free kick give it. No yellow card on Martial. Sonny, thank you very much and welcome to the members club. We've got some comedians in the chat tonight. So nearly 20 minutes gone at the Emirates, and it's still 0-0 there. Arsenal started off very, very well. I think it's going to be a very, very difficult game for Arsenal. Sorry, a very, very difficult game for Newcastle to get something out of it. There's Rashford into the box. United. Maguire on the right, says Robert McCormack. Of course he's on the right. He's not bloody stupid. He moves his centre-back position more than somebody playing musical chairs. Oh, I'm a left-sided centre-back for England. Martinez is injured. I'm a left-sided centre-back. Oh, no, Martinez is back now. I'm a right-sided centre-back now. I want to take Varane's spot. I mean, just pick a side, mate. He is so fortunate at this football club how he can dictate which side he is on. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Chicken kebab for dinner and 3-0 United win, says Jammy. Thank you very much, pal. Donny van der Beek has just floored 2 players. Double whammy from Donny. Double whammy Donny. Just cleared 2 Bournemouth players out with 1 tackle. Well, he's got to get involved, hasn't he? Mitrovic scored for Fulham, by the way. Not that you wouldn't have guessed. Annabove says, so happy for the community that we've built here. Big up to all of you, and thank you, Mark. Says Annabove, thank you very much. Does the side he choose really matter that much, mate? Says Brian A. Well, yeah, it does, because basically when he's playing on the left, it's because he thinks he can get that spot, and then he moves to the right because he thinks he can get that spot. MUFC says it's a disgrace this match isn't on TV. I think it's a disgrace that as a consumer in 2023, you can't choose to pay to watch every game you want to watch. Who does the winner of this game play, says Jamie? Oh, someone sort him out. I'd say, what have we had? 5 minutes. Bournemouth have started off quite confidently. I think United will have too much for them. Too much for them. Get the stats on screen. Everything should be on screen. I don't know why people are moaning about it. Is it not running? Let me have a look. Sorry about that. It wasn't. Let's get those stats running around the screen for you. The stats carousel is up and running. Well done in the chat. Make sure you subscribe, by the way. Bottom right hand corner. Mitrovic is not coming to Man United because we've got no fucking money. I do love it. You know, I love the entertainment of people going, get Mitrovic in January, get Tony in January. Yeah, we've got no money. We couldn't afford 35 million for Gakpo. This back four is giving me Ollie vibes, says Akshay. Hi Mark, can I get a shout out for me and my dad fishing down the beach for cod whilst listening to a bit of Goldbridge as the cream of the crop? What a lovely evening. Sounds lovely. How Man United playing so far, says Nathan. It's a decent start from United. In fact, we've just won it back high up the pitch, but they've cleared it. Marshall's coming too deep, says Nico. I don't think the Charlton game's on the telly next week either. Everton is on the telly. Obviously, Man United and Man City will be on the telly. The pace has been quite good, Huzzy. I think the pace has been quite good from United so far. We are trying to move the ball quicker. I mean, unfortunately, Lindelof and Maguire just love to take 2 or 3 touches, but we've got to get up that tempo because they're gonna sit in Bournemouth. And what you need to do, it's the same as the game against Forest, isn't it? We need to score early to open them up. Have these saved Ronaldo wages just been pocketed, says Nick? Yeah, it seems like it, doesn't it? Does seem like it. I don't anticipate that Bournemouth are going to have many chances, really. But Casemiro's doing a lot, coming to get the ball off the back four, trying to get that dictation of play going. No You says that what does No You say? This game stinks of a 1-0 loss. No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. Yakov says Maguire's stat padding with his sideways passing. Hey, come on, let's be a bit fair there. Bournemouth are on the attack here. Let's be a bit fair that Lindelof and Maguire, there's not a lot between them. But Bournemouth, it's been quite an open game so far. Bournemouth are certainly not here to just sit and park the bus. They've moved the ball around a lot. I mean, and they have won a few friends, Bournemouth. I mean, I'm not going to say that they're completely terrible. Maguire spends so much time pointing out other passes he forgets to be the right option, says Brian. If you want to get commentary in the UK, get your earpiece in. MUTV have got it, if you've got MUTV, but they might show it for free anyway. Still 0-0 Newcastle Arsenal. I think Nico makes a good point. United just not really offering up anything different at the moment. It's all a bit in front of Bournemouth. Carmine's just gifted 20 memberships, so some of you've just gone and got a badge next to your name for the next month. Legend of the chat there, well done. Thank you very much, Carmine, you legend. Bournemouth are moving the ball around quite well, but Donny has won it back. Sorry, just getting a food order in. Yeah, so Donny is playing at 10, and of course Bruno is having to play out on the right-hand side today because we've got no Anthony. So Bruno's playing to the right with Martial centrally and Rashford through the middle. The Professor, thanks very much for the super chat. We had a yellow card in the Emirates for Callum Wilson. Who do you think Man United should sign, says Hazard? Well, João Felix in January. Fans need to come together in this country and demand change on being able to watch all games. It's robbery by BT and Sky, says Brian. I'm very vocal about it every time this happens, mate. I think people outside the UK just cannot understand it. That if you're in America or India or Australia or Sweden, you get to watch every Premier League game. We're in the UK. We are... it's the English Premier League, and we can't watch every game. So if Man United are playing Bournemouth or Arsenal are playing Bournemouth at 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, their capacity is 11,500. Unless you've got a ticket to that game, you can't watch it. It's just ridiculous. And they hide behind this whole curfew that it will affect lower league games. Never in my life have I thought, oh, Man United are playing at 3 o'clock on Saturday, I'll go and watch Warsaw. I've always, years ago, I'd find a way of listening to it on the radio. I'm not interested in going and watching non-league football. It's weird. Not non-league football, but it's weird that you're not able to do it. Arteta seems very animated days. Don't remember him seeing this fiery. He's grown in confidence, Peanuts. He's grown in confidence, definitely. I was watching Cavani's first season highlights. A player like that is what we need. The press, strength and the finish, says Dan Harding. It's raining a lot tonight in Manchester. Not that that's new. Twisted says, I don't like Bruno on the right. Well, remember, Anthony is injured. We could have started Garnacho, I suppose, but... Ten Hag just shaking his head a bit there. In Finland, every Premier League game, FA Cup, Carabao Cup for £30 a month. Lovely stuff, Larry. Harry's playing really well, says Ollie Gunner. I bet Solskjaer sat at home with a box of Quality Street and a pint He's got Kariki on FaceTime, and he's like, Kariki, I've never been so proud. It's our back five. What do you think of Enzo Fernandez going to Chelsea, Yusuf? I think it's a fantastic deal if they do it. What more can I say? And Bournemouth here to play on tactical fouls, dirty game, to be honest, as DC. Thanks for the super chats, by the way. You can do that through the $ if you wish. Still 0-0 in well, not in all games. I think Everton are losing to Brighton and Fulham are beating somebody, Leicester. But 0-0 between Arsenal and Newcastle, 0-0 between Manchester United and Bournemouth. I just think we're a little bit static moving through the back. Just got a flight at Gatwick straight on to United Stand for the match. Sorry to be a pain, MG, but why is Anthony out? Says MPB. No problem at all. He's got an injury. We don't know what the injury is. But he's not on the bench. There's a lot of side to side from United. We're starting to see players come deep. Bruno, Martial, Rashford. There's a lot of interchanging. It only takes one goal and the context of the game will change. But at the moment, Bournemouth are looking rather comfortable. There's a nice ball into the channel here for Bournemouth. Nice ball again. Casemiro with a very, very good tackle. And goes out for a throw-in. Oh, no, I think he's given a foul. He's given a foul. He has. He's given the foul. I thought it was a good tackle by Casemiro. Looked like a good tackle by Casemiro. And he's given a foul. I detect a bit of laziness in our passing, says Kenneth. It's the tempo. Warm up the jam. Pump it up. Up a little more. Get the party going on the dance floor. Yeah, it's the tempo. It starts from the back. Maguire and Lindelof are very different to the way that Varane and Shaw have been moving the ball, to be fair. But it's early days. You need an early goal. We're going to get a yellow card in the Arsenal game here for Nketiah. Premier League costs $65 a month here in Norway, says Lassie. And Goldbridge is class, but not in the best mood tonight, says Sheriff. Why, Sheriff? What's wrong with you? Referee's not very good, says Joe Farrell. Thanks to everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner. Get involved with the United Stand community. A big January ahead. We've got lots of games. We're playing Everton on Friday night in the Cup. Then we're playing Charlton a week tonight. And then a week on Saturday, we're playing Manchester City. Manchester City. In fact, I'm back on Talk Sport with the Mark Goldbridge show. I'm not Jim White. I'm Mark Goldbridge. I'm back on Talk Sport a week on Saturday after the Manchester derby. But Mark, do you think Pogba would have been a good partner with Casemiro in the midfield? Says no, because he's injured. Yeah, he's injured. But Maguire's just played a nice ball out to Luke Shaw. That's definitely going on his Insta reel. Here's Martial. And it's overhit. Bit sloppy. Tempo's not quite what it needs to be so far. Might be a penalty for... Oh, no. Warm up the jam, pump it up a little more, get the party going on the dance floor. Raz says, United should go for Vlahovic in the summer. Really think he would suit Ten Hag's style of play. It would have to be a summer deal. And do you think Pogba... Yeah, going back to what Greg said, I do think that Paul Pogba in a Manchester United shirt with Casemiro next to him, it would have given him more freedom. Eriksen doesn't have to do a lot of defensive work, so I think it would have given him more freedom. But if buts and maybes, we've rarely seen a player live up to that big price tag like that for Enzo. Says Brian, quality player, but there's great players for a third of that price. Says Brian. I think Caicedo. If Man United can't get Enzo, I'd be very happy with Caicedo, just because Enzo Fernandez is a top quality player, and he is. And he's just won the World Cup. I still think Caicedo at Brighton's a very good player. I'm very disappointed with what's happened with Basuma at Spurs, because I think he's a good player as well, but maybe just doesn't suit Conte. But I think Basuma would have been better off going to Arsenal and playing in a team that plays a little bit like Brighton. Passing from the defence is important. If your centre-backs pass slow, the rest of the midfield will play slower because of expectation. I just get annoyed, says SK. Well, Bruno has done well on the right-hand side here. I think he might have won a corner. Likely time for rescheduled Leeds game, says Keanu. Don't know. We've still got a game against Leeds and Palace to be rescheduled. We actually have got a spare week coming up the week after next, but they haven't scheduled it in. So I think if we keep doing well in the Cups, we will end up in a situation in March or April where we're playing 4 games in a week. You know, where you probably play Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, something stupid like that. Have we won a league game when Maguire has started this season, says Toho. Don't tell me the stats. Yeah. Well, a lot of people used to say that our record with Maguire was brilliant. And then it wasn't. Shout out my mum, says Issa. Not going to do any mum jokes. In USA, I pay $10 a month for all Premier League, Carabao, FA Cup and most Championship games. Never realised it was different everywhere else, says Rose. Thanks very much, Rose. Thanks for being a member as well. Still 0-0 between Arsenal and Newcastle, and obviously Manchester United and Bournemouth. 20 minutes for United, 36 minutes for the Arsenal game. They kicked off at 7:45. If Blues get Enzo, I hope we don't end up with Rice and Kane, says Remy. I don't really mind if Man United, if Ten Hag wants Rice and Kane, I'll back him. You know, it more would have bothered me under Solskjaer. Bit of a wasteful cross from Donny there. I sense a bit of frustration in the chat, but you know, this to me is a bit like a Carabao Cup game. When you do rotate, you do end up with, you know, a less cohesive performance, and I think that's just what we're seeing from United. It's a little bit less cohesive than we'd normally expect. It's embarrassing playing this poorly at home. Mate, I'm going to defend the team here. I don't think United are doing badly. I think it's we played on Saturday, and we've made a few changes, and you know, it's a completely different centre back pairing. It's a different number 10. You know, we've changed the spine. I think when's the next cooking video, says King? Hopefully very soon. I'm looking forward to doing it. 1-0 to Manchester United. There you go. The patience is key. Casemiro. Goldmo. Doesn't even work. But fantastic cross from a free kick. Casemiro gets there on the front post and taps it in. And that early goal that you need against Bournemouth comes against Bournemouth in the first 20 minutes. Eriksen with the free kick. Casemiro gets in front of his man, side foots it into the corner, and Manchester United have that early goal, and it's Casemiro, absolutely brilliant. And I tell you what, Bournemouth, we may as well play the reserves, because you ain't that good. You ain't that good. You're going down like the Titanic. You're going down like a pack of hungry dogs on a plate of sausages. And that's not a euphemism for prostitution. Thank you very much. 1-0 to Manchester United. And it's Casemiro with a lovely finish. An absolutely lovely finish. And Manchester United lead 1-0. This guy, he's got the lot. He's got goals. He's tearing up this league. He's got the lot. He's got the lot. Fantastic. Manchester United leading 1-0. And we're on easy street. There we go. We're on easy street. Very important when you're playing these types of games that you get the early goal. I've gone with 3-0. Make sure you subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. But yeah, very important when you play these sort of type of games that you get the early goal at Old Trafford. And we'll get a lot more space and confidence now. And we can see that already, that we're starting to, play with a little bit more freedom now. What do the people in the UK think of Meghan Markle? Voted one of the most hated people for 2022. Casemiro, hands down, the best midfielder in the Premier League, says Harry. Yeah, we're not going to talk about Meghan Markle, but I will talk about the second point. I mean, the great thing about Casemiro is we've been doing the United stand for years. We've wanted a CDM at United for years and years and years. And we've now got one. But we haven't just got one. We've got one of the best in the world. And he brings... The quality of Casemiro, I think it stuns people because he's so consistent. He's so good defensively. He's very good in... I mean, he's better... McTominay used to start for United because he was tall. Casemiro is very good in the air. He's very good in the tackle. He's very good with the ball at his feet. Fantastic player. And he can score goals. I think Newcastle should have had a penalty there. Australia, you get APL, La Liga and all cup games free with your home internet plan, says Red Smurf. Thank you very much. Thanks for those super chats. No penalty to Arsenal. I think it looked like a bit of a penalty, but they got away with that. Mark, be honest, have you ever managed to pull a 10 out of 10, says Sheriff? And yeah, my wife. Casemiro has been our best player of the season, says Dave. He's been fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Iram says we actually score from corners and free kicks now. Cassie Keane, what a lad, says Mario Franco. I had this debate the other day. I'm a massive fan of Michael Carrick, but people were saying to me that Carrick's better than Casemiro. I'm sorry, Casemiro is one of the best CDMs that's ever played the game. Michael Carrick, I thought, was amazing, but couldn't even establish himself in the England team. Now, you can put that down to bad management. Of course you can. Casemiro is my new favourite player, says Dazzo. He's an absolute beast. An absolute beast. Fantastic player. Bournemouth have got a free kick here. Chance for them to probably whip a cross in. It's gone for a corner, actually, off the top of the wall. Still 0-0 between Arsenal and Newcastle. Newcastle have settled into the game a bit more. Edge of the box there. I think Newcastle have done well to keep it 0-0, really. Very pleased that United have got that early goal as well, because, I mean, it's just that ability to score from set pieces, as somebody said. We scored with Rashford against Forest. We've scored tonight with Casemiro. It's something we didn't do. So you've always got to score from open play. But when you can add goals from set pieces, it's not a cheat code, but it just means that when you get free kicks, when you get corners, the game can be quite equal, but then suddenly you've got a goal. The Bandit says, who's this ref? Absolute prat and a half, says the Bandit. Well, we've just seen a fantastic save from David De Gea there. I think there might have been an offside anyway. Yeah, there was an offside, but it was a big save. 6th assist for Ericsson, joint 2nd in the league, says Akshay. Yeah, he was miles offside. It's Casemiro putting a tackle in anyway and David De Gea making the save. Soonest called Casemiro Steady Eddie. I played the game. I'm telling you now, Casemiro. I've played the game. Brazilian WordPress. Nothing better. We might have paid 10 million over for Casemiro, but he's definitely made up for it. And that's the big thing, Red Smurf. If you buy a player that's if you buy a player and you overpay for that player, but he overperforms, you don't mind overpaying. Casemiro for 60 million is a lot of money for a 30-year-old, but it's worth it, and that's what Anthony's got to try and live up to, this massive price tag. Casemiro now or Keane at 28. Well, Michael, I wouldn't swap Roy Keane for anybody, because not only was Roy Keane a superb midfielder, he was also the best captain I've ever seen. Bruno and Maguire getting a bit of stick at the moment, but when you've got people like Rashford and Casemiro in your team, it makes a big difference. He's on a different planet, isn't he? Mark, having an Indian with the wife and kids, listening to you at the table, getting some looks. My kids love you in the United Stand. Big shout out to your kids. Hope it's a lovely Indian takeaway. I'm quite hungry myself. I had a vegetarian chili tonight. It was very, very nice. But the trouble with vegetarian food is it don't fill you up. I nearly said it doesn't fill you up as much as meat, but you're having some dinner and that's a bit crude. The fives around the offside summed up our players. De Gea, great save. Casemiro busting a gut to tackle. Maguire with his hand in the air, says Yakov. Welcome to Members Club, Chris. Class Emiro, says Ben Thompson as well. Remember Bruno's playing out of position as well at right wing. He's having to do a job for the team tonight with no Anthony. Newcastle just had a big chance on the back post. What are your thoughts on De Jong changing his mind on joining United? Jorginho, I'm sorry that you've wasted a super chat. If you watched the morning show or the show we did with Romano, you would know it's a big load of shite. He hasn't changed his mind. There's no change with De Jong. Mark, your vegetarian chili will look like Fellaini's haircut once it goes through you, says IPD. Okay. Anyone know why the membership milestone chats ain't working, says David? They have been working. Maguire's just given us a corner. Giving them a corner. It is raining. It's raining. Mark must start looking for the next Casemiro so he can get a rest. He can't play every game. He's a boss. Michelle, I think you make a great point there. If Ten Hag isn't, if Casemiro doesn't play, I just put a tweet out there at Mark Goldbridge. You can check it out. Where would we be without Casemiro? Certainly not top four. So it's great to have him, but it's a problem. He can't play every game, is he? How's your referee? Arsenal's is absolutely horrible, says Nelly. Mark, love these set pieces improvements, says Greg. Cross comes in. Maguire heads it out for a throw-in. Kaz has been amazing. Wan-Bissaka Shaw, Donny Eriksson been decent. Don't want to make it Maguire thing, but he's the only one my eyes get drawn to, says SK. I don't think he's done too badly. He's never going to be Varane or Martinez, is he? How would you feel if our new owners were to set up a network of clubs similar to the City Group, says Daniel? Still 0-0 at half-time for Arsenal against... is Rashford down the right wing. Arsenal-Newcastle, 0-0 at half-time. Of course, if Newcastle lose and this result stays the same, i.e. a Man United win, we go into third. If Newcastle draw and we win, Newcastle keep third on goal difference. Oh, nearly 2-0 there. Wicked cross from Bruno Fernandes. And Bournemouth defended it well. And a shot from Casemiro there. He's got a lovely shot on him as well. I've lost count the amount of times Bruno's lost possession with these flicks. Also, why is this Maguire lad wearing Casemiro's captain's armband, says Sean O'Rourke. Edson Alvarez for backup, says Tumbleweed. Sorry, Mark, but meant before you settled down on a great night, my best yet is 8 out of 10. Says Sheriff, well done. Yeah, we'd have a game in hand as well on Newcastle if we were level with them tonight. I'm loving this. We're ruining Michael Jordan's party, so sleep tight. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. We're very, very close to... I don't know what we're close to, actually. We're very close to 545,000. We're only 200 subscribers away. Bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Big January on the United Stand. We're live every morning at 10 o'clock, every night at 8 o'clock. We'll be reacting to any transfer news, so make sure you subscribe so you get your notifications when we go live. Jeff Austin, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Maybe I have some bias, but I am quite tired of Maguire making silly plays. I think it's time we look for another centre-back. Yeah, we can't do that till the summer, though, Isola, can we? And let's be honest, Casemiro is controlling this game, says D. No, that's why I tweeted it. I genuinely asked the question, where would this United side be if it didn't have Casemiro? Because I think he single-handedly dominates so many games, and we've seen him do it. I mean, he did it against Forest as well. He was man of the match against Forest. And he's man of the match. But I mean, you put Casemiro in this Liverpool side, they'd win the league. That's Liverpool's big problem. Here's Donny, gets it out wide. Bruno tries to shoot. Rice would be a great understudy for Casemiro. Love the show from America. Come on, United. I've been loving the direction of the club. Got a free kick on the edge of the box here for Manchester United. Can you shout out my six-a-side team by saying up the mighty private, says Jack. United got a free kick on the edge of the box here. Jonathan Dudley, thank you very much for subscribing. Casemiro won the free kick, by the way, if that's not a surprise to you. Remember, we're sponsored by Boohoo Man. Links in the video description. Get 10% off with the code Goldbridge. Lovely clothing. Mark Pink Boots, Phil Jones or Darwin Nunez? I almost forget about Phil Jones, to be honest with you. It's Ericsson territory. Yes, Riley, I do read comments. Rashford and Ericsson over the free kick. It's a good position for Manchester United here. Really, Ericsson should be dinking this over the wall, but I've got a very distinct feeling that that Rashford's going to smash this. Been keeping an eye on Donny. He hasn't had the ball much, but his movement around the pitch is putting their midfield and defence on the edge, says Liam. And it was Ericsson who took it, and it wasn't going in. Seeing Magaluf gives me PTSD of the Ollie days, says Solid Ace. Yeah, I think the keeper had it covered, but it hit the top of the wall anyway. 0-0 between Newcastle and Arsenal. It is half-time there. Cooking with Goldbridge on Netflix, please, says Liam. I played the game. Corner for Man United. This is where Harry Maguire earns his £80 million price tag. Very good in the air. Doesn't get on the end of it. He's a fantastic player, Luke Shaw, isn't he? I mean, he's playing left centre-back for 2 games, plays really, really well. And then he's playing left-back, playing really, really well. Just, I said it on Twitter today, I think the Luke Shaw thing is just pure stubbornness. Some people just decide he's not very good and stand by it. I think he's a fantastic player. Maguire, Wan-Bissaka's been very steady. Maguire's good up in the air, a bit like his career, says Hyper Protagonist. Thank you very much for subscribing and getting involved. Appreciate that. Malacia needs a loan. Why? He bloody started the last 2 games. Well, 6 minutes to go to half time. I'm relatively happy with this performance from Manchester United so far. We have rotated and we are winning, and ultimately that's what it's all about. I did see somebody earlier on talking about goal difference, and I don't disagree with that. I think that the goal difference is a bit of an issue, but hopefully that's something we can work on towards the end of the season, because ultimately the most important thing is to keep winning games. I've played the game, and you need to win games. Bournemouth on the run down the left-hand side here. Casemiro must have got through some work tonight. I'm telling you now. He's put in a shift tonight, Casemiro. I mean, I'd call it off now and give him man of the match. It's been absolutely magnificent. Wan-Bissaka holding his own lately, says Max. Yeah, he's been a very, very competent stand-in when we've needed him to be. We've not really missed this Delot recovery. Rashford went striker and Martial went left wing, says Liam. Well, you know what? We're very grateful for that set piece, aren't we? That set piece has been huge for us. From Shorboto Carlos to Shalo Mandini, class, says Alligator. Thanks for the super chat there. Johnny says we've got a very fluid front 4. Big shout out to the mods. Susan and Renate, I can see you. Smutty as well. You couldn't get... I mean, this is amazing. This is literally 2 comments at the same time. So Dylan says, Donny should go back to Ajax. And then Bot, the very next one, says Donny's been very good. And this for me is the interesting thing, isn't it? Corner to Bournemouth here. The complete... I suppose you can only describe it as bias, that your eyes see what you want to see sometimes with footballers, don't you? You see the good bits and not the bad bits, or you see the bad bits and not the good bits. The passing out from the back, even in the counter press, has been such an improvement already, says Neil. Donny van der Beek is actually injured here. It was quite nasty. I don't think it was deliberate, but he sort of slid it. Oh, I tell you what, that looks bad. If Donny is down and stays down here, got it right on his knee, I think it's bad. I think it might be bad. Slid straight into his knee. It didn't look great. The hope is that I think there is some movement there, and he's certainly bending it. It might just be a bang. I don't think it looks like it's going to be as bad as some people might think. Certainly not a red card. That timing of that run by Casemiro on the goal was fantastic. There was a couple of United players who were actually offside, and he's just timed it to perfection. It's not a red card because the player won the ball, and because it's wet, sort of slid after and caught Donny afterwards. So it would be never be a red card in those circumstances for me. And Donny's on his feet. I think he's all right. Or is he? I don't know. Trying to run it off. Remember, Mark, Casemiro has built his career playing next to world-class players, so this form will probably be temporary. Keep up the good work, says the Pirate. That's a broken leg, says Chris Slater. It's not. He's trying his best to run it off. I don't think he is. No. Poor Donny. Done his best to try and run it off. Yeah, it's a sad one. He's really trying his best to run it off, but it was bad. It was bad. You could see his knee extend backwards, and you worry about a player like that. He's going off down the tunnel. He's getting an ovation. He was doing all right, but it's just, he wasn't doing fantastic, but it could have been the start of something, and it's really sad. It's really sad to see that, because Marius, thank you very much for the super chat. It was a bad it wasn't a bad challenge, it was an unfortunate challenge, and Garnacho's actually going to come on. This is exciting. Isaiah says, I'm glad I finally had a chance to catch the game with the United stand. Usually too early for me in Canada on Saturdays. Finally part of the members club. Welcome, pal. Thank you very much. Yeah, Donny goes off. I hope you feel bad in the chat now if you were calling him shit. There was a few of you. Yeah, his knee, if your knee bends like that, it basically went like that. So imagine that is a normal knee, and you run like that. The tackle basically took his knee that way. He might just have badly bruised it. It might just be, something very minor. But on the other hand, it could be something, more sinister with ligament damage. So mad for Donny's look here. He showed some good play with this midfield, says SK. I mean, on a very basic level as well, it's a problem. If that is an injury that keeps him out for a month or two, this is why you got to go and get João Felix, because João Felix can play at number 10. Anyway, Garnacho's on. He will go to the wing, and Bruno will go back at number 10. Hyperextended his knee, says Michael. Exactly. Well, we're nearly at half-time here. Referee's adding a couple of minutes on. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. Hi, Mark. Love the show. If we beat Man City, we get top 4, says Yuga. I don't know about that, mate. 100 subscribers away from 545,000. Manchester United leading 1-0 here. 1-0 to Manchester United. Referee is going to blow in a minute. I don't think it was a foul. I think it was just unlucky. That means no cam for Charlton apart from Ericsson. That was from Jude. I don't think we will see Donny till after the January transfer window, maybe even longer. I don't think he's staying at United, which is a shame, says Jack. ACL gone, end of the season for Donny, says Marius. I think that's a bit sensationalist. You might be right, but I don't think you can diagnose that. Happy New Year, Mark, and I hope you're well, says Kenzie. Thank you very much. So, half-time, Manchester United. Thoughts on that half? Let us know in the chat. Manchester United leading 1-0 at half-time. Very good goal from Casemiro. From a set piece again for Manchester United. Very dominant performance from Casemiro again. Manchester United's general performance, probably not as fantastic as we would want it to be, but it's been efficient. And I think that's the main thing, isn't it? But Casemiro is the difference again, isn't he? I mean, Rashford's been quite quiet. Bruno's been quite quiet. Martial's been very quiet. Ericsson's been okay. I think the fullbacks have done okay. I think Lindelof and Maguire have done okay. But for me, the difference maker is Casemiro. Absolutely fantastic performance from him. And, he has literally been the difference between 0-0 and 1-0. And you look back at, it's quite an interesting one, isn't it? Because you look back at Manchester United and you look back at, that back five and go, well, that's a back five that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer used to pick. And people get a little bit panicky about that and go, oh my God, it's like the bad old days. But in fairness, I sort of know what they're on about, because I think that is quite a reminiscent Ole Gunnar Solskjaer performance at home to a team like Bournemouth, where you go in at half time 0-0 going, we've not done quite enough. The tempo's not been good enough. We've not moved the ball quick enough, and the passing's been a bit off. But what we have done that we didn't do under Solskjaer, I mean, he had that ridiculous record on set pieces, is when you sort your set pieces out, these games become less of a problem if you can do something from set pieces. So yeah, it is the difference between what we used to be like under Solskjaer and what we're like under Ten Hag at the moment, where we can score from set pieces, and it opens up the game a little bit. Looks like it could be a torn ACL, which you can walk on. Hopefully just a hyperextension, though. Also, not United related, but keep Dharma Hamlin in your thoughts. He collapsed on the field last night during Monday Night Football. I'm aware of that, Uncle Drew. And the game had to get cancelled, didn't it, between the Bengals and the Bills. Hopefully you'll be okay. If this is a serious injury for Donny, is he done at United? Says Brandon. I don't know about that, but Anthony's injured. If Donny's injured, we've lost 2 players in one game. We're just going to run out of players very, very quickly as well. That's the other side of it. Is it just me, or did it look like Donny leg bent? Hope he's okay, but I think he broke it, says Trevor Jones. Has there ever been a better back four on the bench in Premier League history, says Hans. And think it's time to move Martial on now. He's not good enough even as a bench player. He hasn't improved since joining, and his injury record doesn't help, says Michelle. And welcome to Members Club Simons. So let's have a quick look at the stats, which are next to me here. So 63% possession for Manchester United. Only 1 shot on target in 45 minutes. They've actually had more corners than us. Our passing accuracy isn't too bad at 86% possession. But I think what those stats show you is Man United lead 1-0 is we've just not done enough. We haven't done enough, have we? I think we could have done a lot more. And I think that in the second half, if I'm Eric Ten Hag, I'm just giving him that little kick up the arse that he gave them against Wolves. There's more that we can do in this game. And the set piece was very good, and you can't argue with us being in front. But I think if we don't score from that set piece, Ten Hag is probably having a very different half-time chat. And knowing what Ten Hag's like, I don't think he's having a different second half-time chat. I think he'll be looking at everything that we've looked at and gone, we're only winning because of a set piece that was very well constructed by Eriksen and Casemiro. The actual balance of the play is very, very equal, and we need to win this game, so we need to do a lot more in the second half. And somebody mentioned Anthony Martial there. He's been very, very quiet. And yes, it's a graveyard shift for Manchester United. Of course it is. We all know the number 9 shirt's a graveyard shift, and that could be Martial, Ronaldo, Cavani in the last couple of years. But we need more. And Casemiro is so dominant in that game. I'd be asking for a little bit more from my centre-backs, a little bit more from my full-backs. I want you to push us up the pitch more. I want you to get us going a little bit more, because Casemiro's doing it all on his own. You can be part of that as well. Never forget that Ralph said that big teams focus more on set pieces. Very stupid to let him go, says Stephen. Thank you very much, Stephen, for that. If you tuned in a little bit late, Donny van der Beek has gone off injured just before half-time. A lot of people talking about it in the live chat. Very, very sad what happened, actually. Just a completely and utterly unlucky incident that could happen to any player. The Bournemouth centre-back slides and wins the ball, and then his momentum sends him flying into Donny van der Beek's right standing leg, and basically the force just causes his knee to hyperextend. He gets up, and I think his initial reaction was, "I just want to play," and I think clearly both physios have said, "Mate, you might be in a bit of trouble here," and he's clearly tried to just run it off and basically had to give in himself. It's looking, it doesn't look good for him, and obviously there's a bigger picture about his United career, but ultimately I'm not really fussed about that. The two things that bother me about that Donny van der Beek injury are primarily, one, the injury to the player, and we wish him all the best. And then two, another injury for Manchester United in an area of the pitch where we're very, very short. Donny has primarily been used as a number 10 and was being used as a number 10 tonight. We only have Bruno Fernandes who can play at number 10. There is nobody else. And we've currently got no Jadon Sancho and no Anthony. So, look, there's a player there that solves a lot of these problems. João Felix can play as a number 10, and he can play wide, and he can play as a number 9. I mean, I know United don't want to pay 15 million, but he can do 3 jobs. He can play. We can rotate Bruno and play him there. We can rotate Martial and play him there. And we can rotate Rashford and play him there. Like, you're getting 3 for 1 for 5 months. I I don't know why United just don't do the João Felix deal, because we do need an out-and-out number 9, but looking at the team between now and the summer, we actually need an attacker who can play in a number of positions. I've done Mani. I don't think it's his ACL, says Vinith, and no malice in it, but could be a nasty one for Donny. Seen a still of his angle, and it's side on and backwards, sort of diagonal. The way that's bent, it could be ACL and MCL, says Joshua. Well, as Uncle Drew said, you can walk on an ACL injury, and he's done some damage, because he's certainly tried to run it off and can't. And I think we've all played. I've played the game, and sometimes you get injured and it bloody hurts, but after a minute or so, it will subside. But in this case, the injuries that are the bad ones are when you try and run it off and your body is like, you ain't running this off. So do you think that Sancho's return is going to be as a number 10? Hello from Brazil, says João. I mean, I do agree that I think it's 2-0 to Brighton, by the way. What a season they're having. Brighton against Everton. I've played the game, says Live Wired Red. Please do subscribe. We're only 100 away from 545,000. But I do think that Jadon Sancho could play as a number 10, but he's not doing a job as a winger. BB says Sancho is a winger. People need to stop dreaming about him being a number 10. I think if he was doing his job as a winger, you might turn him into a number 10. But he's not doing his job as a winger, and that's his position. So I think moving a player into a different position... I mean, my big issue with Jadon Sancho was his inability to track back before he had this 2 months off. So I think that, that is a key issue that needs to be resolved before we start thinking about anything else. So, yeah, that Sancho could play as a number 10, but you see the amount of running Donny was doing, or Bruno does in that role. It's a misunderstood role, because obviously everyone thinks number 10 creativity, but there's also a lot of work in it as well. And Brighton are beating Everton at Goodison Park 2-0. What a team that Brighton side is. What a team. But yeah, look, Jadon Sancho doesn't put enough work in on the wing. Ten Hag basically got pissed off with him because of that. So I wouldn't be remodelling Jadon Sancho as a number 10. And it's probably the last thing he needs. He needs to become a winger. And I think that's what we need. If United are doing a deal for Felix, include buy option to remove him from Atleti. If it works, great. If not, as you said, new number 10 for 5 or 6 months, says Sean. Exactly. Still 0-0 between Arsenal and Newcastle, by the way. It's been more of an equal game in the second half. Newcastle have grown into that. It's 3-0 to Brighton. What a team. Brighton. I'm going to have to tweet this. I apologise for just tweeting sometime. Brighton, what a side. That's all I'm going to say. At Mark Goldbridge. I mean, can I just shock you for a minute? I know we've got the stats on the screen, but just take a look at this. Take a look at this for a moment. We are... What are we? We are game 17, and Brighton are in 8th place above Chelsea and Brentford with 27 points. They're only 3 points off 5th. And, Fulham as well. They played a game more than everybody else. But look at that. Brighton and Fulham in 8th and 7th place. And we're nearly halfway through. Fantastic what some of these teams are doing. Fantastic. Really, really is. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner, smash a like, and big shout out to everyone who's done the super chats tonight. Really appreciate that. Do not forget that we are also sponsored by Boohooman. What is Boohooman? It's an active clothing range where they've got all sorts of fitness and all sorts of stuff, that sort of thing. You can get 10% extra off every other deal they've got at the moment with the code Goldbridge. You can scan the QR code by going through that with your camera phone, or you can go through the link in the description. I'm wearing my favourite Boohooman outfit. I wear this a lot for Watchalongs. Lovely hoodie. nice and snug for these winter nights. Big shout out to Boohoo Man. Get yourself fantastically priced clothing. Was it really Graham Potter who was the magician, or are they just a very decent side on their own, says TJ? I think what Brighton have done is they've brought in a very good coach. Again, it's 4-0 to Brighton now. Lampard's getting the sack, isn't he? Lampard's getting the sack. Everton are in big trouble. The fact that they're looking at Alanga says a lot to me as well. I'm sorry, I don't think Anthony Alanga is a player that's going to go to Everton and keep you up. We miss Goldbridge's sexual innuendos. You're the best, says Sheriff. Thank you very much. Lampard sacked for new manager bounce versus United. Of course, yes, Dan. We're playing them on Friday night, aren't we, in the Cup? Looking forward to that. Any changes in the second half, Mark? I don't think so. I mean, we've seen Donny go off for Garnacho. He's got another 4 subs. I think he'd like to bring McTominay on at some point to give him some game time. I think he'd like to give Fred some game time. I'm sure we'll see Alanga on as well, but I don't think he'll want to take Maguire or Lindelof or Wan-Bissaka off, really. I don't think he'll want to change the defence. The big thing United have got to do in the next sort of 20 minutes is get the second goal and kill the game off. And, Ten Hag's not an idiot. He's a very intelligent coach, and he will know what we know. We're winning that game because of Casemiro. We're winning that game because of a set piece. Take that set piece away, that's 0-0. And we've seen that 0-0 time and time again over the years at Old Trafford. So Ten Hag will be very wary that, in his mind, this game is 0-0 and Bournemouth could easily score. So you want that second goal. And then once he's got the second goal, he can then start making a few changes. But players are coming out for the second half now. We've had 15 minutes of Newcastle-Arsenal. It's still 0-0 there. Ideally, we need Newcastle to lose and then United win, and then we go to third outright. If Newcastle draw and we win, we'd have a game in hand on Newcastle, but we wouldn't be above them because they've got a superior goal difference. I don't know whether it is 5-0. People are just saying it's 5-0. But apparently Lampard's played the game, says Pepe. Garnacho's already on, Ricky. He says, bring Garnacho on. He's already on, mate. He came on for Donny. Donny van der Beek. 4 goals in 8 minutes, says SK. It's 5-0 to Brighton. They're boosting their goal difference at the moment. Apparently it's not 5-0, it's still 4-0. But people are just adding scores in for a laugh. Anyway, United, Bournemouth, second half about to happen. Remember, in the second half, you can do your player ratings. We put that out on the second... we put it out on the... in the second half. Timer's up and running now. No, it's not. Yeah, 70 minutes. We put the player ratings up on the website. You can mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. Star for your man of the match. I always do this at half time without a shadow of a doubt. My man of the match is Casemiro. Lee Berman says Casemiro is man of the match already. It would take a hell of a lot for him not to be man of the match tonight. A hell of a lot. Somebody is going to have to tear it up in the second half. Because he's been absolutely fantastic. Garnacho's just won a free kick very early on here. Good to see him getting away. And actually he's won a yellow card. It was a cynical trip by the Bournemouth player. I mean, we're not here to talk about Everton, although we are playing them on Friday night. But I think Lampard's was always going to go the same way as Gerrard at some points. He's just they're just not that level. It's reputational coaching. That's what I call it. And Villa are probably in a better position than Everton because it happened sooner. Virtual says, do you like Arsenal? I like what Arteta's done at Arsenal. They are a rival. course they're a rival. I mean, I would rather Arsenal won the league than Man City. My problem with Man City is that this will be their first time winning it three years in a row, which only United have ever done. And also, I always worry about Man City doing a treble. VAR gone missing again. Arsenal should have had a penalty, says Red Smurf United. I think Newcastle should have had a penalty as well. Stats carousel, let me get it started for you. There we go. We just need United to turn this into a comfortable game now. As I said, the rotational players of Donny and Maguire and Lindelof have probably made the game more interesting in the sense that I think our first team would have won this rather comfortably. So, you know, it does make it quite interesting, but I'm in that mindset now where I'd like to see us just get this game done. Like Chris O'Hagan says, we need 2-0 soon. Good play here from United. Luke Shaw into Rashford. Continues the run. Still Luke Shaw. Back into Bruno. Out wide. Cross comes in. Luke Shaw. That's a team goal. That's a 2-0 goal. That's Roberto Carlos. I tell you what, and I'm going to say this now where everyone's going to listen. There are people out there who will not give Luke Shaw the credit he deserves. You are stubborn people. You are not real. You are not being real. You just cannot move past the fact that you don't like Luke Shaw. He's a very good player. He dipped after the Euros, admittedly, but he is a very, very intelligent footballer who deserves the credit. And I don't think he gets it enough. He starts this move from back to front and he finishes it at left back off the back of 2 fantastic performances as a left-sided centre-back. He's intelligent. He's cultured. He's a really good left-back. Give him some credit. Fantastic goal. Absolutely fantastic. So pleased that actually him and Casemiro are scoring goals because you don't always get the credit for all the defensive work. But what a goal. What a goal. And that puts the game to bed. I've played the game and that puts the game to bed. Garnacho with the assist. Ted, thank you very much for the super chat. Sorry for becoming a member. Amazing build. It's just a very good team goal. There's not a lot Bournemouth can do about it. And United just going through the gears there. But the fantastic thing about that is that Luke Shaw starts it. We could do with 2 Luke Shaws at the moment. One who can play left centre-back and one who can play left-back. But look, he's a very intelligent player. And I think he struggled last year. I think he was struggling last year. I think there was a lot going on at United. And I think it was getting to the point where he probably wasn't enjoying it at United, like a lot of players. But he's back now and, you know, showing what he's all about. The competition Eric Ten Hag brought in at left-back has lit a fire under Luke Shaw as well, says Red Smurf. Well, you know, the interesting thing about Luke Shaw is we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago because there are 5 players with 1 year left on their deal. Luke Shaw, Fred, De Gea, Dalot, Rashford. And, you know, the common theory is that Rashford should get a new contract, De Gea should get a new contract, Dalot should get a new contract, Fred should be let go. And people are a bit like that with Luke Shaw. But for me, 100% give him a new contract. Hi Mark, I love Luke Shaw, but I was really disappointed with him last season because he was visibly out of shape and he downed tools, Zua, but he wasn't the only one, was he, mate? I think, you know, there's a lot of players that have had to earn the respect of the fans back. I don't think that's out of doubt. Important to see goals being spread over the squad given lack of forwards, says Delino. Very, very good point there. Very, very good point. Very good point, well made. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. Still 0-0 between Arsenal and Newcastle. Could do with an Arsenal winner here for many reasons. There was a good question earlier. How do you think we'll do against Man City and Arsenal? It's very difficult to say. I can't wait for them because Arsenal are the best team we've played at Old Trafford, and we did win it, but you know they could have won that game. I think anybody knows that. We deserved to win, but we could have won. Man City destroyed us at the Etihad, so I'm very interested to see where we are now, a few months later. And I can't predict it because, if I'm being honest, I'd expect us to beat Bournemouth, Wolves and Forest, and we have. I expect us to beat Everton and Charlton as well. I think we've been really good in the last few games because we're winning games we should win. Good tackle by Wan-Bissaka there, and he kept it in. Mark, I think Shaw is captain material, says George. I don't think he is. If you know what he's like as a person, I don't think he'd want the captaincy at all. Some people are leaders because of how they play the game. Luke Shaw wouldn't want the captaincy. Shaw deserves credit where it's due. Plays left centre-back twice and is a boss at it. Moves to left-back and cruises. Needs a defensive midfield man of match. Shout out. This ref, however, is gash, says Shadow Smith. I'm just glad to see Luke Shaw getting the credit he deserves. I mean, I've seen some nonsense written about him, and you know, I've seen some videos about him, and it's just people who just, you know, I've always liked Luke Shaw, and I actually got accused of something stupid for liking Luke Shaw a few years ago. I mean, ridiculous, like absolute stupidity. And I know what I like in a player, and I think Luke Shaw's a good player. I can acknowledge that he did drop off for a year after the Euros. I think a lot of players did, but I like Luke Shaw. I think he's a good player there. Chart show's back on Saturday, YZ, and I'm looking forward to it. Call me a Pratt, says St James. Martial's been quiet, yeah, I'd agree. Wan-Bissaka here. Cross comes in by Casemiro. I think Martial should score that. What a cross it was. And he's bloody missed it. Again, it's just fantastic by Casemiro. Oh, he's got to score that. Got to score that. Pretty straightforward chance for a striker. He's gone down injured, actually. Well, people are saying we need a striker. I suppose in some ways we do, but then in other ways we don't. We've got a very vibrant team at the moment that's finding goals from lots of different places. Eric Ten Hag needs to give Aaron Wan-Bissaka a chance. But PK, he's given him a chance. What are you talking about? He's not better than Delo. We can have that conversation, but he's not better than Delo. And this is the problem that Eric Ten Hag has got. He's got a right back in Aaron Wan-Bissaka who can do a job, but he's not Delo. So what are you going to do? Stick him on the bench on 100 grand a week? You know, these are the difficult decisions I want Ten Hag to be able to make. Now, one of them's got to go because you've got to bring in a cheaper developmental right back. You can't keep Wan-Bissaka on 100 grand a week. You either start him or get rid of him, and Delo's better. Hi Mark, what website shows the list of players out of contract in the summer but can talk to clubs in January? That right there is our list, says Chris. I know the one you're on about. Alan, thank you very much for gifting members. 5 members. Alan is a legend of the chat. And Happy New Year, Mark, and everyone else in the community. Looking forward to an exciting year as a United supporter, says Benjamin. Brilliant game. Come on, you Reds, says Alan Noonan. Thank you very much for the super chat, Alan. Henry thinks that, well, let's do a poll. You know, it's not just my opinion, it's a community. Who is better? Delo or Wan-Bissaka? Get your votes in the poll. That's how it works. Because what I'll tell you for free is I like Wan-Bissaka. I've always stuck up for him, and I like Delo. But I'm telling you this for free. You cannot keep both. They're both approaching their mid-20s. They're both first-choice right-backs. And neither of them are going to be happy to sit on the bench. So you've got to make a choice. What we've got at left back is perfect. You've got a senior left back and you've got an up and coming left back, and you let them battle it out. But cross comes in from Bournemouth. Good header, good save by De Gea. I don't know how that header comes in. I've got to be looking at Lindelof or Maguire there. Let's have a look. Cross comes in from Bournemouth. Yeah, Maguire's lost his man there. Hi Mark, I really respect Ten Hag as a coach. Our team lacked proper coaching since Van Gaal, says Zua. Yeah, you've got to move one of them on. You have to. It's what you call... It's 0-0 between Arsenal and Newcastle with 15 minutes to go. So as things stand, we would go joint third with Newcastle, but would be fourth on goal difference. Still a good return, but it'd be nice to see Arsenal get a goal. Disappointed, even 14%, said Aaron Wan-Bissaka, says Lee. A big chance for Bournemouth again. Another big save by De Gea. De Gea is the GOAT. It could have been 2-1. And you talk about Wan-Bissaka, but he sort of got himself in problems there. Bournemouth having a bit of a go here. I'd like to see that again. Two big saves from De Gea in a couple of minutes. Are we going to get to see that again? Yeah, Maguire flicked Wan-Bissaka out of position. So, you know, all your Wan-Bissaka fans, he's out of position there. These things happen, though. Of course, these things happen. I think Martial is doing a selfless job pressing and making dummy runs aside from the Casemiro cross. No service, says Dan Harding. It's a hard job. It's a hard job. Delo's got 86% of the vote. I better close that poll. So there you go. That's why Wan-Bissaka needs to be moved on. Personally, I think it makes a lot of sense to try and keep Wan-Bissaka at the club until the summer. It's a selfish thing to do. But I don't know whether that's what Wan-Bissaka will want to happen. ADK says Wan-Bissaka's better. His pocket's always full. Mark, let's make a poll. Goldbridge versus Ten Hag. Smutty says no more goals. I said 3-0 to United, so... Maguire's just headed it straight to a Bournemouth player. I mean, Bournemouth have played quite well, you know. But United have done enough so far. Casemiro's found a good ball here. Bruno out to Garnacho. Den of Don says Bruno's been a bit wasteful tonight. Everyone just had a super soft. SK says everyone just has a super soft for him. Comes from those PSG games and having the ability to pocket some of the best. Bit of an underdog. Says SK. Still 0-0 between Arsenal and Newcastle. There's still 15 minutes to go there. Here's Martinelli. And the keeper gets hold of it. Lewis says, what's your thoughts on Dubravka being recalled? Not bothered. Really not bothered, mate. I think it's spread time, says James. It's very difficult to find a backup goalkeeper because De Gea needs to play as much as possible under Ten Hag because it's a new way of playing, and the more games he plays, the more he gets used to it, and the more Ten Hag understands if it's the keeper he wants. So Dubravka was never going to play many games. We need to get someone like Romero. That's what we need. I'm not talking about Romero, but we need someone like that who's, quality, who is happy to be the understudy. I mean, I spoke to Ben Foster about this, and he said, in the goalkeeping world, you get goalkeepers who are number one, and you get goalkeepers who are backup goalkeepers. And you need a goalkeeper who is happy to be that backup goalkeeper. You don't want what Man United have had the last 2 years with Dean Henderson, who's forever putting stories out there about wanting to be number one. There's nothing wrong with Henderson wanting to be number one, but it's disruptive to De Gea and Henderson. You don't want that sort of a relationship. So United need to find somebody who's happy to be number two. Now, Tom Heaton's, a good person to have around, but is he good enough to be number two? Does Garner have a relegation clause? Poor guy, says Cryptic. Arsenal nearly scoring here. Remember, we can finish the night in third place outright if Arsenal were to score a winner here in the last 12 minutes. But it just shows you how good Newcastle are, that they've lived with top of the league for so long. Fred for Ericsson, says Michael. We've still got half an hour to go in this game. I wouldn't like to concede next. Remember, Bournemouth have had a couple of chances, and I like what I've seen today, but my God, Maguire just looks like an accident waiting to happen to Spencer. The nicest thing I can say about Lindelof and Maguire is that they're a long way off Martinez and Varane. Joe, thank you very much for joining the Members Club. Appreciate it. Bruno's certainly looked a lot better since he's come to the number 10 position. Hi, VTX. I think Bournemouth have done all right, I think it was inevitable that we would win. But Wan-Bissaka puts it out for a corner there. That was a heart in the mouth moment. The cross came in. I don't know whether it's good defending from Maguire or not, but it wasn't as convincing as I would like. The cross comes in, and I think Maguire does use his body to shield off the defender there, shield off the attacker. It's actually quite good from Maguire there. He uses his body to stop Solanke getting in. But they always do look like a threat, Bournemouth. They're looking like a threat. Lots of people having a go at the ref. Still 25 minutes to go here. 10 minutes to go at the Emirates. Martinez is warming up. Chucking it down with rain at Old Trafford, by the way. Gavin says, what's your opinion on Alanga joining Everton for game time and experience? I don't really understand why Everton want Anthony Alanga. I mean, you're in a relegation battle. I don't know that that's a good move for him. But he's shown absolutely nothing that he's a Premier League player. But the fact that Everton want him, I think it'd be quite exciting. Callum, welcome to the Members Club. I think Alanga's coming on now, says Hanny. Yeah, it was inevitable that Alanga would come on. I mean, he's literally the only attacking option we've got. Newcastle are in the box here against Arsenal. Back post. Goes for a goal kick. Van der Beek went off at half-time, fresh, yes. Are you going to come back to Dublin? Yes, I am, Ger. Looking forward to it. Joshua says, do you think Ahmad could play as a striker if we call him back? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. The table will be going round on your screen. That's it is on. The stats carousel is on. You'll see it going around in a minute or two. Don't forget, we're sponsored by Boohoo Man. You can get 10% off loads of clothing items with the code Goldbridge. Scan the QR code or go through the link in the description. I think Delow's coming on here. Luke, thank you and welcome to the Members Club. So Delow and Fred are coming on. Ericsson comes off. He needs a breather. Mark, how would you keep Lindelof or who would you keep, Lindelof or Maguire? Says Alan. I think long term, if I'm being completely honest, I would like to replace them both. But it's very unlikely that we'll get both of them moved on in one summer. Alanga's coming on as well. It's a treble substitution here. So Wan-Bissaka, Ericsson and Martial come off, and Alanga, Delow and Fred come on. I'd move Maguire first because he's on the bigger wages, and I would keep Lindelof because I think Lindelof is more used to being a backup fullback. So Alanga comes on for Martial. Just watching the Arsenals here because Martinelli's on the attack. They're on the break. Newcastle player went down with cramp. Oh, that could have been the chance there. Xhaka. Cross from Odegaard and he just kicked thin air. Should Pellistri be given more game time instead of Alanga? We desperately need a backup centre-back, says João. I'd like to see Pellistri given more game time, but the manager is Erik ten Hag and he clearly doesn't see it, does he? No, I'm not saying he doesn't see it. He doesn't see in him, what he wants. Martial's gone straight down the tunnel there. I don't know what that's all about. Oh, God, they've just shown Richard Arnold. Funnily enough, I remember talking to Ben Foster about this, and he said that when a player goes straight down the tunnel, it's a bad thing. Unless they've really got an injury, you shouldn't do that. So, interesting there. Well, let's see if Alanga can get a goal. It would be nice, wouldn't it? Still 20 minutes to go here. Quite a routine performance from Manchester United so far. I mean, it's not been without its drama. Maguire playing class, great to see. He deserves it, says MUFC 123. He's back again. So MUFC 123 is basically Harry Maguire's brother. We haven't heard from him for about 4 months, but as soon as Maguire's back in the team, it's just propaganda time. Just refresh, I'm back. Rashford wildly shooting there. Bandit says, commentator says Arnold will be busy in January. The only place we need him being busy is on bloody Indeed.com. The place where you're looking for a job. If Atletico Madrid are skint, could we not ask for first refusal and negotiate the loan fee to come off any future transfer fee for Felix, says Glenn. Yeah, we could. But you've just said something competent, and that's not how it works. Good to see Delow back on the pitch anyway. Yeah, maybe Martial's injury was because of the knock to the eye from the cross that he should have scored from. Mark, I'm watching on NBC Sports in New York, and one of the commentators said we don't need January sizing. Nothing desperate about this squad. Pratt. Summy, it doesn't matter what country you live in, you will find shit commentators and pundits everywhere. Completely clueless. And this is what happens when you get people commentating on a football club they don't know anything about. Happy New Year, Blocks. Thank you very much. Martial went down with that head injury. It's probably precaution, says Dan. Yeah, as long as it's nothing leg related. We can't afford another injury. I think Donny's injury is going to be bad. We don't know what the situation is with Anthony. We don't have Sancho back next. We literally cannot afford any more injuries. And look, you know what? Rashford's been superb lately, hasn't he? Quiet night for Rashford. Just these things will happen. It's... oh my God. Good play by Ramsdale there. I thought Newcastle were going to get a one-on-one. FBF1 says Arsenal about to start a run of bottling. I mean, mate, they started off on fire in the first 5 minutes. I mean, I've had it on the other screen here tonight. 0-0 into the 89th minute. As a United fan, I actually wouldn't have minded Arsenal winning this tonight because it would have put us into third place outright. As things stand, Newcastle will still be above us with a goal difference, but we'd have a game in hand. But they've played... Newcastle have grown into this game. Fans demanded Ten Hag quality CDM centre-back with mobility and pundits disagreed. The fans know what's best for our club and United stands helps us be heard, says Harry. It's amazing how many of us have spoken about it for years, isn't it? Years. Thoughts with Shaw in mid to next Casemiro, says Mohammed. Well, look, I think Luke Shaw can play anywhere at the moment. But the rotation from Ten Hag has worked. It might not be what a lot of people wanted to see, but it has worked, and I think we'll see rotation against Everton and against Charlton. We might not see our first 11 play until we play Man City, and that might be the plan of Ten Hag, just to rotate. Garnacho's just been fouled here quite badly by the Bournemouth player. Gone right through the back of him. I don't know whether he got a lot of the ball. It's a dangerous tackle. It should be a red. That should be a red. Referee's got that completely wrong. It's dangerous. It's reckless. And it shouldn't be allowed. Pub Talk Football says you clearly want Ten Hag to fail. I'll do a very big favour to the chat and just remove you from the channel, mate. What's the point? Spent hours in March and April pleading that the club get Ten Hag. But yeah, you expose yourself as a prat in 2023. It's only took you 3 days. 5 minutes added on at the Emirates. I thought it was a bad foul on Garnacho. I think he knew exactly what he was doing. He's gone through him and... you know, that's how people get injured. I thought the Donny injury was very unlucky, but that foul on Garnacho, you know, that's a deliberate foul that could really cause a serious issue. I think Bruno's had one of those games tonight, hasn't he? A bit like Rashford. You know, it's just not... I mean, Bruno's not had a game like Rashford for a while, to be fair. Rashford's been brilliant. But just a bit of one of those nights where you're probably trying things that you wouldn't try if it was Man City or Liverpool. But because it's Bournemouth, you know, you're having a bit of a go. 3 minutes to go. Newcastle and Arsenal, 0-0. Arteta out if Arsenal don't win, says Zane. Got the t-shirts printed. United have got a bit of a break on here with Bruno. Loads of space. It's a 4v4. What's he going to do? Lays it off to Fred, who thought about shooting. He probably should have done. Garnacho. Oh, he's hit the post. What a bit of play that was. Well, you can't ask for more than that. It's a 4v4. and Bruno Fred work the situation for Garnacho, who hits the outside of the post. Everything done right. Oh, close. So close. Player ratings is out. I'll drop the link in the video description in a minute. Looking like it's going to be a very good point for Newcastle. Got a feeling that Eric Ten Hag wanted Donny to be a cover for Bruno. He needs a rest. Fingers crossed for Donny, says SK. Yeah, I'm not going to make any predictions on an injury because it just, you know, you just don't know, do you? But that Donny injury didn't look great. It's looking like a good point. Martin, welcome to the Members Club. Anthony, thank you very much for supporting us as well. Anyone a little worried none of our forwards had a shot on target, says Charlie. I don't think we've created many chances at all tonight. I think this is I wouldn't describe it as a result where you win where you're playing badly, because we haven't played badly. But I'd describe it as a win where we've done it in third gear. If fifth gear is our best, I'd say we've been in third gear tonight. I think that there's been a few performances that have just been a bit average. And obviously we've brought players in that, you know, make you take a sharp intake of breath every time they're on the attack. But it's a win, and it grows momentum. Alanga gets a shot off, blocked. Daniel Luciano, sorry for missing your chats. Arteta wants a handball here. Arsenal want a late win, want a late penalty here. Xhaka. I don't see it. Let's have a look. Nah. Not for me. Play on. It would have been harsh on Newcastle there. I mean, as much as I wouldn't have minded it, I don't think it's a good shot by Delo there. Delo's the best right back in the Prem, says Betch. I mean, Arteta's going absolutely mad at Eddie Howe, but the one time I root for Arsenal and they can't get the job done, says Stephen. I know what you mean. Luke O'Grady, thanks for the super chat. Snap says Arteta's being over dramatic. It's not over at the Emirates yet, but Arsenal got one more chance to whack one in. Jide says that Garnacho should go on loan to get more game time. He's given a corner here. And another good save by the keeper there from Garnacho. Very accurate on his shots. I predicted 3-0, so I'd love to see United get the third goal. There's plenty of time. Still got 10 minutes. Good interception by Fred. Another Ten Hag masterclass, says Rune. Here's Garnacho. It's going to be 0-0. Good tackle on Garnacho. It's going to be 0-0, Arsenal and Newcastle. A lot of people giving Fred some credit. Very good point for Newcastle. Going to Arsenal and deservedly getting a point. Not a bad result for Manchester United. Of course, we've got to go to Arsenal in a few weeks' time. But that's a fantastic result for them. Newcastle, you know, you'd take a point there, wouldn't you, against top of the league? Of course, for us, it throws us in. Mark, you wanted Zidane, not Ten Hag, says DA. What are you talking about? No, only De Gea saves, but pinpoint distribution, says Daniel Luciano. He's been fantastic. I'd like to see a green and gold third kit, says Cy James. Bournemouth on the attack. Just shot wide. I wanted Conte at one point. To be honest, I wanted Brendan Rodgers. I just wanted Solskjaer to go. But once we appointed Rangnick, for me, it was very obvious that we were going to make a summer appointment. And I think it was from about February time. I was Ten Hag. So, if United win, we will still stay in fourth place, but we will have joint points with Newcastle. They have got a much better goal difference. Not been massively impressed with the referee tonight, got to be honest. A lot of people in the chat saying it as well. Could have had a penalty there. Rashford on the right. Nice ball into Bruno. Keeper's made three. You know what? Fairness. Bournemouth keeper's made 3 good saves in the last 10 minutes. I don't think 3-0 would flatter Manchester United. Gertchen says Rangnick was overhyped but did bring stability. He spoke a lot of sense as well and wasn't given the power to do anything about it. Our goal difference is not very good. You know, we're about 15 goals off Newcastle. Gordy says Casemiro's not been very good second half. 3-0 to Manchester United. They gave a handball to Rashford when he kicks it from a metre away and ricochets, but not for that, Pratt, says Kyle. Bruno's body language looks very frustrated, says Kyle. And we've got the goal from Marcus Rashford here. Manchester United makes it 3-0. And even when he's not had the best of games, he still manages to get a goal for Manchester United. 3-0. Let's see how this was constructed, because it looked like a very simple goal for Rashford, who just at the moment, this is what goal scoring's all about. It's all about this, just consistently scoring. It's a lovely ball by Luke Shaw and Bruno Fernandes. No, it's Delo. No, it's Bruno. It's his Bruno. And, you know, in that moment, 2 players who've probably not had their best games, Rashford and Bruno, just very simply make it 3-0. And the Goldbridge prediction comes in. 3-0 to Manchester United was my prediction tonight. And Rashford delivers that third killer goal. Great ball by Luke Shaw, says DK. Very simple pass by Bruno. Very simple finish by Rashford. Very simple 3 points for Manchester United. And 3-0 against Bournemouth. You know, we've got to start clocking up that goal difference. And we've certainly done that tonight. 3-0 to Manchester United. And that third goal's been coming. I mean, look, Brentford to me, you know, Bournemouth. You know, Bournemouth, boring. You know, it was always going to be a comfortable win for Manchester United. Martinez is going to come on now. He'll get a massive ovation, of course, as a World Cup winner. But, yeah, very, very comfortable for Manchester United in the end. I'd still give Casemiro man of the match. Player ratings, mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. I will whack the link in the live chat for people so they can just go straight there and do it, in fact, because it's easy enough that way. Martinez is on. Luke Shaw's had a very good game. You could give Luke Shaw man of the match, 100%. Good point. Second half, he's been very, very good, hasn't he? I've just pinned it at the top of the live chat. Vote for your player ratings. It will take you to the website. Mark every player out of 10. 6 being the average. Star for your man of the match. We'll go through that on the match reaction. Man of the match is clearly Luke Shaw by a mile, says Humphrey. Gordy says Shaw or Maguire. Yeah, not in a million years would I give it to Harry Maguire. Every time the ball's been near him, I've nearly shit my pants. You should be sponsored by Pampers. I'm just like, it just terrifies me. I don't know whether that's even fair anymore, but he does terrify me. It's a problem, isn't it? But it's worked tonight. To be fair, 50% of our goals against came from 17 games, says Cameron. Yeah, we've conceded a lot of goals, haven't we? Because of getting thrashed a few times. We'd have made a meal out of this in the past. Massive credit to Ten Hag. Looking forward to this future, even more impressive, allowing for squad rotation, says Dylan. Well, the thing about Ten Hag is that people just think he's come off a Christmas tree. Rashford man of the match, says Ajit. No, I think Rashford and Bruno have had a quiet game, and it's nice to see them getting involved in the third goal. But Casemiro in the second half has been gold with his first time passes linking defence with attack. Nitton, yeah, people forget about Ten Hag. It's almost like we've done him a favour to give him the job. His CV was probably one of the best. Available coaches out there. Alanga's not really offered anything, says Ant. I like Alanga, but he's very consistent in what he offers. And he's got the ball now. Rashford, sort of a cross shot. I think this is a cross for Alanga, wasn't it? Nah, he's put too much power on that, Rashford. Too much power. How long is the referee going to add on? Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner, we're going to get 3 minutes added on here. Then we're going to go into the match reaction. And we've got a studio forum for you as well tonight. So get ready for that. It was a cross from Rashford. It was just hit too hard. Ajit says Maguire's a contender for man of the match. Ajit, you've just given us a super chat. I mean, I would love to know if you are trolling or if you are actually taking the piss because you actually believe it. For what? He's not scored a goal. De Gea is more of a man of the match. I mean, De Gea's made 3 or 4 fantastic saves. I mean, if we're giving Lindelof or Maguire man of the match, we're a charity. Like, I'm not saying they've played badly, but they've done nothing compared to De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Shaw, Casemiro, Eriksen. I think De Gea's had a fantastic game. Eric Ten Hag is the call sign for Etihad Airlines, says Hypnotic. I mean, he's just made another big save here. It's a great save. That's probably his best save. That's a brilliant save by De Gea. In any other game, he probably would get man of the match. David De Gea has been brilliant tonight. I mean, I'm almost forgotten how many. Charlie Max says Casemiro should be man of the match by a long way. I think if we'd been managed by Solskjaer, this would be a 1 or 0-0. 1-0 or a 0-0, and we'd be giving it to David De Gea. Catherine needs Bournemouth to score for her bet. I said 3-0, but I didn't bet Catherine, so For me, it's not that important. But another perfect score. I predicted we'd beat Forest 3-0. I predicted we'd beat Bournemouth 3-0. I did say we'd beat Wolves 2-0, but it was 1-0 in the end, wasn't it? Thanks everyone who's tuned in, by the way. We will go straight into the match reaction after this with the player ratings as well. I'm really excited to see who you're going to vote as your man of the match. You can do it on theunitedstand.com, or you can go through the link in the live chat. Don't forget, we've been sponsored by Boohoo Man as well. Links in the video description for that, or scan the QR code next to me. Use Goldbridge to get 10% off. There's the league table next to me as well. We are joint with Newcastle now. We have a game in hand on them. They are ahead of us on goal difference, but we are joint third now, and we're moving through. There's the code for Boohoo Man to get you 10% off. But we're going to go on to the match reaction next. Link is in the video description for that. Manchester United player ratings coming in there, and I will see you over there in a moment.